guys are good to start.
Good evening, everybody. The City Council will convene for the purpose of presenting proclamations. We have 3 proclamations to present this evening, and we will begin with the first 2 at the Springfield International Charter School boys and girls basketball team. These proclamations will be presented by Councilor Hurst.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you to my colleagues behind me for sponsoring these proclamations. Anytime we're able to honor our young people for being student athletes, but also for excelling on the basketball court, we want to make sure that we do so. Because when you all are out there fighting, when you all are out there fighting and putting your hard work on the line, you're not just representing yourselves, but you're representing the entire city of Springfield. So we wanted to take this opportunity to acknowledge your efforts, the boys certainly on winning Western Mass, the girls on winning the state championship. And we know the value of recognizing and honoring our young people because we know that you all, as young adults, are role models for people like my young son and my recently born young niece. So we appreciate the work that you all are putting in, to the coaches for what you all have done in terms of instilling in these young men and women hard work, persistence, and just the desire to be excellent. We appreciate you. In addition to our parents, I am the father of 2 young boys. I know what it's like to go back and forth to practice on a nightly basis. I know what it's like for those of you who have your young people involved in AAU to travel from city to city and from state to state and from complex to complex. So I just want to let you know that we appreciate your efforts, but not only in impressing upon your young people the importance of sports, but also impressing upon them the importance of being student athletes and, more importantly, just good young people representing the city of Springfield. So with that being said, I am going to read the proclamation for the boys team, followed by my colleague, Councilor Whitfield, who is going to read the proclamation for the girls team, and I will get started. Whereas the Springfield International Charter Schools boys basketball team won the Western Mass Championship this season. Whereas the boys went undefeated in their league with a record of 23-3. I don't know if that was quite undefeated. Certainly had a pretty good record. Whereas all their hard work and dedication led them to the Division IV state finals. It didn't turn out as they hoped, yet it is quite an accomplishment to make it that far against such strong competition. Whereas the 2022 to 2023 Springfield International Charter School boys basketball team roster includes Kajor Gladden, Jalen Lovejoy, London Denson, Josh Colon, Chris Baptiste, Sam Flemings, Malachi Waters, Erasmo Ruiz, Elijah Kleps, Kenny Rogers, Brandon Arias, Perez, Darian, I messed it up before. What is it, Coach? Darian Bior, Ricardo Hilton, Xavier Kleps, and Brian Lawrence. And whereas they're led by head coach Pat Ochoa, assistants Richie Colon, Quinn McKenna, and Mike Petrax, managers Kavian Nixon and Anaya Ortiz, and also Braden Ochoa. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Springfield City Council hereby recognizes, honors, and commends the Springfield International Charter School boys basketball team on winning the Western Mass Championship and wishes them continued success in their future seasons. Congratulations.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. I too just want to say how proud we are of all of you for the great job you've done on and off the court. You represent the city of Springfield so well, and we couldn't be more proud of the work that you're doing. And to the parents, I used to be a sports mom too. I'm glad that my children are adults now, but it was a lot of work, and you guys have done a great job with your young people, keeping them involved, keeping them active, keeping them on the right, straight and narrow path. And so I just want to, again, this time want to get up, students, and you turn around and you give your parents a round of applause, parents, guardians, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, whoever helped you through this process. We're going to do that right now, so stand up. And you face them. Because it's so hard. It's so very hard to make sure you're fed, make sure you got everything you need when you're on the road, get back, make sure you're still getting up and getting your assignments done. That work is very hard, but they are so committed to your success, and they love you so much that they're willing to do it and make sacrifices to do it, because it's a huge sacrifice. So thank you. And to the coaches, that's a sacrifice too. You know, it's a sacrifice that you take away from maybe your family or aging parents or someone that you could be taken care of, and you take that time because you think that these youth and young people are important enough to do so. And so to all the coaches, hey Raymani, and all the assistant coaches that used to play, and Mr. Ochoa, I see you over there too. We really, really thank you too. Thank you. So let's give them a round of applause. And I am so honored and proud to be able to read this proclamation because it is Women's Month. Yeah, that's right. And we are so super proud of you, and it's just befitting for us to read this proclamation, so I will go ahead and get to it. The City of Springfield, March 27, 2023. Whereas the Springfield International Charter School girls basketball team won the Division V state championship, defeating Millis 42-34. Yes. Whereas Bulldogs head coach Tyrone Reed said, "These girls have worked really, really hard, and they are coming to make a statement, and that you did." Their name will be on the banner in the gym forever. And whereas the girls will be working hard for the next season, but right now is their time to celebrate their dedication, hard work, and being champions. And whereas the 2022-23 Springfield International Charter School girls basketball team roster includes Alana Chambers, please stand. Desmariah, did I say that right? Desmariah, no? She's not here? Okay. Colazo. Yes, clap for her. Alexa Davis, please stand. Yes. Ayana Hodge. Alicia Mitchell. Haley Morin. Sarah Pierce. No? Okay. Jada Polk. Mia Wise. Nolani Santiago. Jayla Witherspoon. Olivia Daly. Giovanna Mars. And Angel Stewart. Did I miss anyone? Did I miss anyone? All right. I didn't want to. Thank you. And whereas they are led by head coach Tyrone Reed. Is he here? No. Assistants Tom Campagna, Brandy Seymour, Raymani Lozana, Cheyenne Wellington. Managers Cardion Collins. Emily, I really don't want to mess up your last name, but Emily, you know who you are. Sorry. Sierra LaBoy. And Madison Wells Bison. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Springfield City Council hereby recognizes, honors, and commend the Springfield International Charter Schools girls basketball team on winning the Division V state championship and wishes them continued success in their future seasons. A proclamation sponsored on March 27, 2023 in honor of the Springfield International Charter School girls basketball team. A test by Gladys Oyola Lopez, the city clerk, and sponsored by city councilors Justin Hurst, Tracy Whitfield, and all city councilors. Well, thank you.
Yes. They all.
And Western Mass, let's go, let's go!
And I also want to apologize. I also want to apologize to the boys who did go undefeated in the league. And that was made clear to me by Coach Click, who said that he had a tough time and he coaches for Commerce with Springfield International Charter School. But just to conclude on a serious note, I just need you all to understand that you all are leaders. You may be young, but you need to recognize that you all have young people that are looking up to you. And I say that to you because, Kenny, I don't think you understand the impact that you had on my son, who would go to your games regularly and come home saying, I want to be just like Kenny. And my response to him was, you got to put in the work. And his response to me was, I'll do what it takes, Dad. So you just don't understand the impact that you're having on our young people. I appreciate the fact that you all are leaders right now and that you're doing big things in the community so early. Keep up the great work. And with that said, I'll turn it over to my colleagues who may want to say a few words. The Dean of the City Council said I forgot to have all of the boys stand up. So if you guys all want to stand up now, please, so we can clap for you.
I just want to congratulate you and say that during March Madness, it's great to have champions in the City Council chambers. Keep up your good work.
It's Women History Month. I also want to congratulate the boys and the girls for winning the championships. You guys are champions in my eyes forever, because now your name is going to be on that banner in that gym. So you all should be very proud. I'm proud of you, and I really look forward to 2 or 3 years from now when some of y'all might want to be on this city council and make some changes in this city, all right? So thank you, Councilor Hurst and Councilor Whitfield, for doing this. I really appreciate it. And again, I just want to congratulate everyone, and do it again.
You know, standing here and thinking how hard it is for you, I take my hat off. School, education, and sport. I mean, if that's not the strongest in the city, what else it is? Congratulations.
Congratulations to Springfield International Charter School on both the girls and boys. I have so many ties to both teams. To Myrna's daughter, I don't know your name, but Adam Gomez, your uncle wanted me to tell you hello. To my nephew, London, I love you, man. Also to my niece as well, Jada. Love you guys. And Hurst touched on it earlier. Kenny, I know where you came from. You came from just hard work and dedication because you weren't the player that you were when you started off, because you started at Dunbar. And I seen the work that you put in, and you were probably the top two players in Western Mass this year. So kudos to you, and also to your coach, Pat, putting in the work with you and making sure you cross that line. And I told Justin that you guys definitely want to leave because they mollywopped us twice. And I'll put on my coach's hat real quick, and I'm so glad Kenny is graduating.
Good afternoon, everybody. I will be brief. My name is Springfield City Councilor Victor Davila, and first I want to say congratulations to all of you. I am very excited as I stand here to see some of the young people, and I'm excited to see not only because of your effort, because I realize that you guys, someday, some of you might be here making decisions for the city of Springfield. As you continue in school, and in the game, you're going to learn some skills, not only about the game itself, but about life. And those skills are going to help you to become a better man and a better woman. Do remember, I beg of you, every time you go to the court, not only you represented the school, but you're also representing the city of Springfield. You're representing all of us. You're representing your mom, your dad, your uncle, tío, tía, abuela, just like us, you represented the city of Springfield. Well, to the coaches, thank you for your work, for doing this. And how about if we end like this? I want to hear these walls rumble. You guys ready? Okay, he's like, what the hell is he doing? When I say Springfield, you say strong. Ready? Ready? We are Springfield. Strong. Come on, you all can do better than that. What the heck? One more time. We are Springfield. Strong. And last time, we are Springfield. Strong. Thank you, everybody. God bless you.
Hi, nice to see all of you. I am Tim Allen. I'm from a basketball family. I know what it takes. My son is the coach of the Longmeadow Girls Varsity. I think you guys played them. My granddaughter is Mayla Allen. Some of you may know her game. She missed most of the season because of tore ACL in January. But I know how much work it takes, as my son's been coaching basketball for the Ballers and for Longmeadow and East Longmeadow for years. I see my grandkids. There were weekends this year. The busiest weekend for me was when there were 17 games. My grandkids had 17 games on Saturday and Sunday. So I know you guys have schedules similar to that. I have 5 grandkids playing basketball. Mayla's the oldest one. I know the effort it takes. I see when my son, when he played basketball in high school, and how much of a dedication he has to the game, and what it takes to achieve the excellence that you've achieved, the effort that it takes. And it even took a little effort from the grandparents to get to most of those games. I figure I went to 50 games this year. And I know that the effort that it takes, I appreciate that effort, and stay with it. I see what it's done for my son, as he went from a high school star to be a coach of young people, and he's a coach in Ballers and AAU, took his teams to three national tournaments last year. So some of you may know him or know Mayla or whatever, but I've seen it with my own eyes, how much the impact it's having on my grandkids. And I hope it has that same impact on you. So stay with it. It will get you in a good place for future success in life. So nice job. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to add one more thing. Donald Mitchell, his daughter, scored 1,000 points, so we want to recognize that as well. And if I'm not mistaken, too, Pat, did Kenny score 1,000 this year? Okay, all right, I'm sorry. So yes, Mitchell, I watched you grow up, so congratulations.
Well, good evening. I'm honored to close us out this evening. My name is Jesse Letterman. I'm the president of the Springfield City Council, and I think my colleagues will agree what a joy it is to welcome you to the Springfield City Council chambers. We have about a 3-hour hearings meeting ahead of us, and I guarantee you everybody will agree that this is the best part of our night, is to see the next generation of leadership right here in the City Council chambers. And it's always especially a welcome opportunity for me because I not only stand before you as the president of the City Council, but also as its youngest member and as the youngest individual elected in the history of the city of Springfield to tell you that you absolutely can do anything that you set your mind to. And there will always be people there that will say that you can't. There will always be the people to tell you that it's too big or too scary to go after. Trust me, when I was 19 years old running for the City Council, they told me the same thing. But if I had listened to them, I wouldn't be here today. And you are already disproving those naysayers every single day with what you are doing on the court. And so as you move forward in your athletic careers, in your academic careers, in your professional careers, the only advice I can offer is what I've always followed, which is make a plan for your future. But just like a game plan, don't be afraid to change that as things go on in your life. Go after what you're passionate about and never forget where you come from. If you follow those rules, we know you'll find nothing but success with the support of your parents, your coaches, and your teachers. So again, congratulations on behalf of the city of Springfield.
So we're going to take a picture with all of the student athletes. Where do you want us at? Are you sure? There are a lot there.
It might be easier if we go outside, or if we all go right here.
All right.
That works. We did that with the work.
Okay. All right.
We can go out on the steps.
So let's go out on the steps quickly.
On the front steps, outside.
Oh, you want to go outside?
No, what is that? Oh, it's too dark. You're right.
All right, let's do it right here.
Right here.
Perfect.
Keep them in their seats and we stand there. See what I'm saying?
Oh, you stand behind me?
We stand right here in the middle. That's what we did with the working groups. That worked pretty well. Because there's more room. You see what I'm saying?
All right, Katie, ready? What's that for?
Yeah, absolutely. Catering, I'm working on it. It's not on yet.
Okay.
We have one additional proclamation this evening. That will be presented by City Councilor Catering Walsh.
Hello again to all the champions, but we're going to have a quiz before I give the proclamation. Who out there, this proclamation is in honor of Clint Screechwood. Does anybody in the audience know who Clint Screechwood is? Clint is not a basketball player, okay? But we are honoring Clint Screechwood, Councilor Davila and myself, because he is an award-winning owl. He won a national prize, and the Forest Park Zoo not only got the title of champion, but they got a $5,000 check. So let me tell you about Clint. Whereas and we're joined by Sarah Tisto, who is Executive Director of the Forest Park Zoo. How many of you guys have been to the zoo? Because they have great internship programs there, yes. Whereas the Springfield City Council is pleased to recognize Springfield's own Clint Screechwood on winning, we have all champions in here tonight, the National Superb Owl title for 2003. Where the heck's Victor to read this for me? Why don't you finish reading? Victor, come read this. I'm going to have Councilor Davila, who's also sponsoring this, read the rest so you don't have to listen to me screech.
Did you start?
Yeah, right here.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Councilor Victor Davila. I'm excited to read this proclamation as well. And whereas Clint ended up in the grand finals against Seaford from Florida's Outbourne Center for Birds of Prey, and whereas on February 13, 2023, Clint Screechwood.
Can you hold up the picture, Sarah? Can you hold the picture up so that people...
Can you hold up the picture of Screech?
people
There you
can
go.
see it? Yeah.
This is Screech. Let's give it up. Let's give it up for Screech. On February 13, 2023, Clint Screechwood, a one-eyed eastern screech owl at the zoo in Forest Park, was crowned Super Bowl Owl of the Year in Bonus Finder's Super Owl Awards. And whereas the Super Bowl Owl Awards is a contest run by bonusfinders.com and is inspired by the spike in accidental internet searches for Super Bowl owl that occurs every year in the weeks leading up to the Super Bowl, according to the website. And whereas Clint Screechwood is one of 3 non-releasable eastern screech owls that found their home at the zoo in Forest Park during the winter of 2020, he has 2 companions, Huma Thorman and Jean-Claude Van Damme, all live with vision impairments that prevented their return to the wild. And whereas, besides Clint taking home the coveted title of Super Bowl Owl of the Year, the zoo that is home to the winning owl will receive $5,000 in support of their mission. Now, therefore, be proclaimed that the Springfield City Council hereby recognizes, honors, and congratulates Clint Screechwood on being named 2023 National Super Owl title. A proclamation sponsored today, March 27, by 2023, in honor of Clint Screechwood, attested by Gladys Ayola Lopez, sponsored by City Councilor Katie Walsh, Victor Davila, and all city councilors. Congratulations to you.
And we have Sarah, who is the Executive Director of the zoo. Can you tell us a little more about Clint?
Sure. Clint is an eastern screech owl, and he only has one eye. That's why he lives with us. Owls can't hunt if they only have one eye, so he would not be able to survive on his own. So we're very lucky to have him call our little local zoo here in Springfield his home. We entered him in a competition that was much like a March Madness bracket system, whereby he had to beat out a different owl from around the country in each bracket until he got to the final, where he beat out Sanford, a screech owl from a facility down in Florida. But he went up against some of the best from the San Diego Zoo and large zoos all over the country, and our little zoo here in Springfield came out on top. So Clint is, a little full of himself these days. He knows he's a winner. He's got all sorts of crowns and trophies in his exhibit now, and so he's just waiting for us to open next weekend, so you can all come visit and wish him congratulations.
Thank you, Sarah. And I did ask Sarah to bring the owl, but because he's endangered, you can't do that.
He doesn't like to be held.
Well, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Come on up for a picture. Who's got a camera? Okay, does Kelly have your camera? Oh, bring the owl. Bring the picture of the owl. You want the picture? Yeah, I want the picture of the owl.
Got it. Want me up here?
Yeah.
Council will come to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Walsh.
Present.
Present. Counselor Fenton. Absent. Counselor Perez. Present. Present. Counselor Whitfield.
Present.
Present. Counselor Govan.
Present.
Present. Counselor Allen.
Present.
Present. Counselor Brown. Absent. Counselor Hurst. Absent. Counselor Click Bruce.
Present.
Present. Counselor Edwards.
Present.
Present. Counselor Curran.
Present.
Present. Counselor Davila.
Present.
Present. Counselor Letterman.
Present. Madam Clerk, can you please recognize Councilor Brown?
Counselor Brown.
Present.
Present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Will the council and guests please rise and join us in a moment of silence? Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, please call the first item on the agenda.
The first item on the agenda is to amend an existing special permit for a mechanical public car wash by allowing a change in the petitioner at 1193 State Street.
This permit was continued from our last hearings meeting. The hearing remains open. At this time, is the petitioner present for 1193 State Street? Please step forward. Sir, your hearing was opened at the last meeting. There was extensive testimony taken in opposition. At this time, the hearing remains open, and I will declare 20 minutes in accordance with our rules for the proponents, that being yourself and any others that wish to speak in favor. And at this time, you may present your special permit to the City Council.
Sure. Thank you for your time. So just wanted to...
Please state your name and address for the record.
Oh, sorry. Richard Kowalski, 5 Wandering Meadows, Wilbraham, Massachusetts. Yes, I apologize for missing last week's meeting. The meeting was kind of filed a little late here, and I just wanted to touch base with the local council and also reach out to some of the neighbors just to address some of their concerns. Since the time of that meeting, I've spoken to most of the neighbors in reference to some of their concerns. Some of the concerns have been with the way the facility is currently managed in reference to noise and trash and hours of operation. What I assured the neighbors of is that there wouldn't be any change of operation in reference to changes to the facility. What we would do is staff the facility and ensure that people, when they were at the facility, wouldn't be operating their their music loudly, wouldn't be soliciting there, wouldn't be loitering, and that we would do a much better job of keeping the facility clean, picking up trash, emptying trash barrels daily. A couple of things that have happened since during the transition as we're in the process of the purchase of the facility. The current owner has installed fencing around the dumpster, which was an issue. The dumpster was just exposed, blowing trash into the neighbors' yards around the facility, wasn't picked up daily. So some of those things are already transitioning and happening kind of as we speak. So I have reached out to the neighbors and hopefully have kind of I guess satisfied them to a sense that that we're hoping to improve the operation that's currently there. We're not looking to change anything other than the day-to-day operations.
Thank you. Do you wish to offer any further testimony?
That is all.
This time we'd ask you to take a seat. Is there anybody else present to speak in favor of the special permit at 1193 State Street, either in person or virtually? Seeing none, is there anybody present to speak in opposition? Opponents do have 20 minutes at this time to present any opposition. Sir, if you would like to step forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Stanley Dewberry, 582 Alden Street, Springfield. We were told that the car wash was going to expand to be made a little bit larger, an area for vehicles to be parked where they can dry their vehicles off. But you're saying that it's going to stay the same. If that's the case, that was our primary issue, was that if people are there parking their cars, drying their cars off, the loud music, our church services begin at 10:30. It would definitely have impact on our church services. So if he could let us know, because we were told that you were going to expand it to make it larger, if you could let us know if that is in case what he's planning on doing, that would be helpful.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else present who wishes to speak in opposition? Please step forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Jones. I live at 76 Buckingham Street, and I did speak to Mr. Kowalski, and he did say that he was going to put in new vacuums and that he was going to make an extension so that cars would be able, their cars would be able to dry off. So that means that they would stay there. So if that doesn't take place, I think everything would be fine. But to have additional space for cars to stay, to dry off their vehicles, that would cause a lot more traffic over there and noise, because people like to play music while they're drying off their cars. So that's what he did state, that there's an area of maybe 4 feet of grass that he was going to cement so that the cars could stay there and be wipe them dry so that they could leave. So I'm a little nervous right now, so excuse me. But that would be a no-no in that area because it's just too congested now. So if they are allowed to stay there any longer than just being able to drive straight through, that will be a problem for us. So that would be it. Thank you.
Thank you. There is an opportunity now for rebuttal from the proponents. If you wish to share, answer any questions. Before we head there, Councilor Brown does have his hand up. Councilor Brown, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I basically wanted the actual petitioner to address the church's concerns as far as that was really kind of like the issues. I believe each individual opponent basically has the same type of concern. I was just curious as far as the petitioner, is it something, are they looking to extend it? Is it something that we can still kind of like work out and talk about? Because it doesn't seem, the last meeting, that's what we were kind of looking for the petitioner to speak on and to talk to the other neighborhood about. I'm just curious, is the petitioner able to speak on that actual subject? Are they looking to expand? As they talk about expanding, what does the actual expanding part consist of? Because I think that's where everyone is nervous.
I think at this time, we'd welcome the petitioner back on rebuttal, both to answer that question and share any other additional testimony.
Sure. Thank you again. So just to address maybe just kind of a conversation piece, but one of the issues were during church services that there's a lot of traffic blocking the drive there, and additionally loud vacuums operating, loud music during church services. So a couple of things that I had offered. I haven't had a chance to look at the day-to-day operations of that facility, but I did offer and say that I would be willing to put in vacuums that are quieter, and the ones that are there are fairly aged and fairly loud, so I do agree with the neighbors. So it would be our intent to maybe replace them with something a little bit quieter, but again, same footprint, same vacuums, that kind of thing. to help address some of the traffic concerns. Again, I haven't seen it, only it's been fairly quiet at that car wash, but something that I offered, I said if we created a parking spot, it would for them to move, or so that the traffic moved better as to not block the church. That'd be something I'd be willing to do, but not anything that I have an intent on expanding or doing initially. Ideally, I'd like to leave the site as is without any expansion and without having to add any further investment to the facility. Also, in reference to some of the noise, I do agree with the neighbors. I don't feel that people should be staying there, waxing their cars, playing loud music. This is a facility we'd like to keep as go in, do your business, vacuum your car, and then move on. So I did offer to put up a couple of signs there just to say that you are in a neighborhood area and keep your music down and keep your time minimal here and not to hang out. And again, we'll have an employee on site that can hopefully manage and mitigate some of this noise and this, what's been allowed before, just to kind of hang out and do work on your car. So at the time, just to address kind of in full here, is we have no plans on expansion or to do anything. The site is fairly small and doesn't allow for anything, any large expansions at all. Our only intent at this point in time, and is just to address neighbors' concern, would be to replace vacuums with a quieter system so as not to create minimal distractions. That is all.
Thank you. Councilor Brown does have his hand up. There is an opportunity for further rebuttal from the opponents. So Councilor Brown, if it's all right, I think we should continue the hearing. Is it all right if we continue the hearing and then?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. And I see Councilor Govan and Councilor Whitfield as well. So is there any further rebuttal from the proponents? Seeing none, is there any rebuttal from the opponents, from the neighbors? Anything else you would like to share at this time? We would welcome you. If there is none, we'll proceed to questions from councilors. So at this time, we'll go Councilor Brown, followed by Councilor Govan, followed by Councilor Whitfield.
My main thing with the actual petitioner is that for some reason it still doesn't seem, it seems like it's a little disconnect as far as the communication of what you're looking to propose there. I would really like it to be, something more fine when it comes to your actual expectations. You're saying you're not going to expand it. I know that Councilor Whitfield is a member there, so I kind of, been playing a little bit in the background of this. I mean, I still was kind of waiting for the petitioner to talk to the church, but for some reason, the church and the individuals in the neighborhood were thinking that you're going to expand it. So I just, as the petitioner, are you going to expand this? Are you looking to expand it in any way whatsoever?
That's directed to the petitioner.
No. We're not looking to expand it at all. We're, again, the footprint is really, really small over there. There's no room for expansion, so we have no plans to expand that facility at all.
And have you spoken to any of the church petitioners or the pastor? Have you spoken to any of the clergy over there at all?
So I have spoke to Miss Nancy Jones and also Mr. Sylvester Tony from the congregation.
Okay, so I just would I'll just thank you, Mr. President. I'll pass this to I know Councilor Whitfield is a member, so I'll pass my time to Councilor Whitfield.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Govan, followed by Councilor Whitfield.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I guess my question is, how many cars can be washed at a time there?
One at a time.
Just one at a time?
Yeah.
So is your employee that's going to be there So say a car gets washed, and then they pull over to the side and they dry the car off. Is the employee going to be able to kind of like manage that? So one car gets washed, pulls over, another car is in the bay probably, you know, getting washed or whatever. Will the employee be able to monitor and say, okay, well, you know, I don't know how long they might have to vacuum? I really like the idea of the quieter vacuums, if that's possible. So that would be my question, I guess.
So this isn't a facility in which you can self-wash or anything of that sort. It is a timed pull-through wash. So our hopes and our intentions that the wash and the dry is good enough that you shouldn't have to get out of your car. I think some of the activity that's been allowed in the past is for people to wax their cars there.
Okay.
I've been told by some members of the church that people, you know, bring a six-pack of beer and kind of hang out there with their friends. So this is all items that we wouldn't allow on site. Our intent is that you pull up, pay for your wash, drive through, get it dried, and use the vacuum if you have to. If not, then just move on. This isn't a facility, a full-service facility that is asking people to hang out and stay and whatnot. So the employee there, our hopes would just help them in that process and helping them move along. If you're there to vacuum, then vacuum and allow the next person.
And what are
their
the
time.
hours of operation?
So currently it is open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., I believe, is the hours of the facility. I'm not sure that we would open up that early or stay open that late. We typically do just a dusk to dawn.
Okay.
We try not to keep it open, beyond sunset.
And will the employee be there during those hours that you're
They
open?
will be, yeah.
Okay. Okay, those are my questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Councilor Whitfield.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I have a couple questions, but I wanted to say that just from being a member of the church, this is my church family.
Awesome.
And there is noise. There's also folks that hang out there, play loud music. Maybe the times that you were there, it didn't happen, but on a Sunday morning, on the weekend, folks have nothing else to do. They go hang out, they play the music. And then the church have had like break-ins happening at the church and things like that. So it is concerning. So I'm glad to know that you'll have staff there to monitor it. And are you going to be open on Sundays too? So it's 7 days a week?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any like opportunities to maybe put cameras there?
So we will definitely do that in reference to putting up cameras. And again, the noise thing is bothersome to me too. It's I have witnessed myself a couple of times where people are there, some people vacuuming, some people just hanging out and playing music so loud that it's shaking their doors and lids to their cars. It's something that we intend to hope to convince people just to move on and just to do the business that they came here to do and not to make this a hangout. So we will, the facility hasn't been fully staffed the entire time in the past. We plan to fully staff it and hope that this will help alleviate this. Sometimes with nobody there, this can kind of give people the free opportunity to do as they wish. So we hope with putting a person on site that this will alleviate a lot of these issues. And, I'm not here to tell you how to vacuum your car, but if you want to do it, just do it in a way that's respectful to your neighbors. It is, there's people around here. You can listen to it in a fashion that somebody doesn't have to hear it 4 houses away.
Well, I do think change of ownership is a good opportunity to change what's going on in the neighborhood.
Agreed.
And I'm glad to meet you. I do want your number after, because if we have problems at the church, I'm going to know who to call.
Everyone at the church has my cell phone number. I did give it to them. So they do have that. The folks at the neighborhood council also, we spoke to them. They have my number. Please don't hesitate to reach out.
Definitely, thank you. But I do have a question for Phil, if I might. So, Phil, my question is, we've been talking about expanding the parking lot. Is that something that can be done in the future? Can they just go ahead and do that? Because that's one of the concerns I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk about the expansion, but all that's been asked for in this special permit is a change to the petitioner. So if there were, if there are any plans to expand, they would have to come back and amend the existing site plan.
Okay, so I think that was the concern, that we don't want cars coming closer to the church, because we do deal with some noise issues, and, you know, the community itself in the street has some of our older members, so it is an aging community on that street, and hopefully one day we can do something about folks whipping around that corner, because it is a dangerous corner, but that's not your fault or problem. That's something that we could work with through DPW, but that's my only question for you.
Yeah,
So
they would have to come back and amend it.
I think that it offers a surety to the congregation and to the neighborhood that there will not be expansions. I'm happy to see that there will be cameras and changing of the vacuums, and so I think that I am in support of it, because I think new ownership gives new opportunity to do the right thing by the folks in the neighborhood. So I appreciate all that you're going to do or considering. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. We're going to go to Councilor Click Bruce, followed by Councilor Perez, followed by Councilor Brown. So we're starting with Councilor Click Bruce.
Thank you, Council President. To the petitioner, it looks like he's looking to be a good neighbor, and Councilor Whitfield actually asked my question, because that was my question, as to if he had to come back, if he wanted to expand, did he have to come back to the council? So that was my question, and we're looking forward to working with you, and please listen to our congregation that's in that neighborhood, because if not, they'll definitely be coming down to us, and we'll make some noise. So again, thank you again for being a good neighbor.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Click Bruce. Councilor Perez, followed by Councilor Brown.
Yeah, I just have a question. Do you have any posters when it comes to the noise awareing the customers, so the noise could be enforced?
Any what, I apologize?
Some kind of posters when it comes to the noise?
So yeah,
it could
I
be
did speak to the
enforced?
folks at the city council and at the congregation. Day one of my tenure, we'll put up we'll put up signs that they are in a neighborhood. Please be conscientious of noise and your neighbors. So that I have said we do that, and we'll do that right away.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Brown, followed by Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Walsh, you are after Councilor Brown. Councilor Brown, followed by Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is for the petitioner. Who are you actually hiring? How is your hiring process? What is your hiring process consisting of?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Is it going with, because a lot of times I would just want to know, is it a way where we can kind of make sure, and I know it's not up to you, I don't want to put pressure on you like that, it's nothing that we can do like that, but I'm just curious, as far as when you go into the inner city, where I'm from, sometimes you have to have right individuals who can now manage the area. And I know a lot of individuals who need jobs. I'm just saying who can manage the area. A lot of times where we're from in Springfield, you got to be from Springfield to be able to be from Springfield. I know you're not from Springfield, and I don't hold that front against you. I definitely appreciate you coming and starting a business here. I just want to make sure that the individuals working there are from Springfield.
Sure. So just a little about myself. So I was born in Indian Orchard. Went to a local school in Indian Orchard. I later, kind of midway through, my parents moved to Ludlow. Went to school here at UMass. Built a home in Indian Orchard. Lived here for a number of years, and recently moved back to Wilbraham. So I can appreciate the area. Can appreciate the neighbors. As far as who we plan to hire, one of our prospects is a neighbor to across the street from the facility that we hope to hire, has expressed an interest in working there. We hope to have people that are close, and that sometimes commuting is a difficult difficult thing, so we hope to draw from the local community in reference to who we plan to hire.
I love to hear it. I definitely appreciate you saying that. Thank you for your business here, and keep up what you're doing. I definitely am in support, and I appreciate I appreciate your answer. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. I miss being able to raise my hand on the, on the Zoom. I was looking for the little yellow button here. It seems to me that there's been a lot of conversation and people working together on this issue for it to be successful. But Mr. President, would I be able to hear from a member of the church regarding some of these changes?
Certainly. If you wish to direct a question to any member of the church, they would be welcome to respond at this time, if they so wish.
Well, what I'd like to ask, and any one of you can answer, is how are you feeling better about the special permit with all the concessions that have been made?
Yes, Stan Dewberry, once again. Mr. Kowalski? All right. The concerns that we had have been addressed. We're happy as to what we have heard, and we're looking forward to having him come forward with this business. And we are confident that if there are any issues, that they will be addressed accordingly, and we're very comfortable with it. And we thank you for your time, for allowing me to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Walsh. Counselor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening. Mr. President, I have a question for the petitioner. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening. I believe your name again is, sir?
Richard Kowalski?
Richard, okay, Kowalski. So you will be purchasing the property, correct?
Correct.
All right, just out of curiosity, is Mr. Felipe Concalves not here?
I don't believe so. I haven't seen him here.
I understand. Richard, last time, well, first of all, I'm glad to hear from the church community that the concerns have been addressed. But I just want to be clear before I take a vote on this. You say that you are not going to be expanding in any way, shape, or form.
Correct.
And that there's going to be an employee there, and your hours of operations are going to be from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Excuse me. Is that employee going to be there from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.? Or is it going to be like a staggered shift, or what is it going to look like?
So I'd like to, we probably would like to take some time to make an assessment there on kind of, what viable hours are to have the car wash open. I don't think there's a lot of business to be had at 7 a.m. Or people washing their cars.
Right.
So I don't think that those hours are viable or work well with the neighbors. So I'd like to just kind of leave it in operation for a few months, see what this facility looks like, and then reassess that and correct that as necessary.
I understand. Now, Richard, last time we heard this, the church community said that they had issues with noise coming from the car wash, people with loudspeakers, trash, and they talked about an open dumpster. Has the open dumpster issue been resolved?
Yeah, so before, I kind of wanted this addressed before, and this is kind of the reason for pushing this off. The current owner was against kind of installing trash receptacles. Originally, the site was permitted with a fence around the dumpster that was never installed, and this was kind of one of our demands that we wanted to happen before we purchased this facility. If you drive by today, there's trash receptacles at every vacuum, in some places too, and then there is a full 6-foot fence around the dumpster with privacy slats, so the neighbors don't have to see it.
I understand. And have you met with the neighborhood council at all?
I have.
You have, and
via Zoom. I was on there.
Say that again?
We met via Zoom. I believe it was on their March 6th or 7th meeting. I forget. I apologize. It was earlier this month, though, but we did meet.
What neighborhood council was that, sir?
I believe it's the Upper Hill Council. I
Okay.
can, if you give me a second, I can
No,
look
that's
up.
fine, that's
Okay.
fine, that's fine. Did they give you any kind of letter, Mr. President? Do we have any kind of letter of support? I don't think I've seen one. If I did last time. Madam Clerk, do we have any kind of communication from them?
Madam Clerk, have we received any written testimony relative to the permit?
We did not.
We did not, okay. Well, you stated that what did they say?
So we had similar conversation that we had today in reference to concerns about noise and trash. I kind of gave them I gave them the same assurances that I'm giving you today.
Yeah.
And what I would try to do to help mitigate this.
So did they say they support the
They
proposal?
said they were happy to see me, see a new owner make an attempt to correct this.
I understand, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Concalves, Richard. Mr. President, I have a quick question for Phil, if I may, sir.
Phil?
Thank you, Phil. Phil, I'm looking here at your recommendations. It says here on the recommendation number 3, all conditions placed on March 13th, 2013, special permit shall remain in place. Do you know what those conditions are?
Yeah, they were, I have them, and they're also included in my analysis that was sent out. I'm happy to look at them.
Would you mind giving me just a 30-second rundown, if you don't mind? If you indulge me, Mr. President, for 30 seconds.
Well, there's 20 of them. Do you want me to
Oh, Jesus.
read them all?
Just give me the most important ones, if I could.
I mean, specifically, the hours of operation on this special permit are from 7 to 10. The public streets, the public sidewalk shall be maintained. The dumpster was supposed to be completely enclosed. Sidewalks remain at that grade. All unused curb cuts, they're legally closed, which I think they were. All vehicle stacking lanes shall be clearly marked. Detailed landscaping planned. So I believe they've met the majority of their conditions besides the,
Okay,
so.
okay. All right, but I do
So
believe that...
those would all remain in place.
I understand. All right, thank you, Phil. Thank you, Mr. President. I would love to hear any more thoughts and comments from my colleague, but and I pose this question, sort of a question now, but I do intend to make a motion briefly. Maybe we should put a one-year review on this as part of the special permit, seeing the church members have had difficulties in the past, and I would hate to see, even though I understand Richard has very graciously reached out, and it seems to me that he's doing his due diligence to ensure that we don't have any issues and that this is prosperous for both the church and Richard as well. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Brown?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to ask the petitioner also, what neighborhood council did you speak to?
1 second, let me just, I apologize,
And to the petitioner, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay. Have you spoken to Councilor LeVar Click Bruce?
I have not.
Have you spoken to me?
I have not. So I spoke to the Upper Hill Residents Council, and Adrian Osborne was the president.
I don't even know of an Upper Hill Council, and I've been around for 1 trillion years. I'm just asking you, have you spoken to Councilor Click Bruce, and have you spoken to me?
I have not.
Have you tried to call Councilor Click Bruce?
I have not.
Have you tried to call me?
I have not.
Have you tried to at least contact the pastor and the clergy to make sure that they are okay, is all that I ask.
So I read.
Because sometimes, hold on, please. A lot of times, I know it's not by a fault of yours, so I don't hold it against you like that. But I have people who look towards me and my colleagues to represent them when it comes to certain things like this. So a lot of times when different entities and business entities want to come in and make decisions in our area and build things in our area and do things in our area, it's up to us to still represent our area. So we still look for, as a good neighbor policy, you at least speak to us. So I just still, I know you didn't understand maybe some of it, so I still lean more to what the church is gonna say.
So I did.
Councilor Brown, does that conclude your remarks? Councilor Brown?
Yes, I'm done with the petitioner, yes. My remark is done with the petitioner. I want to talk to the actual church, if I may.
Councilor Brown, you're free to direct a question to members of the church, and they are free to respond if they would like to.
And the church, what do you guys want to happen today? And that is what I will bend toward.
Mr. President, they wanted me to speak to.
Councilor Whitfield?
Thank you. Councilor Brown, the church is satisfied with the conversation that they had with the petitioner, and the fact that they're not extending, there's new ownership, they'll be putting up cameras, they'll be putting up signs to ask folks to leave the premises, they'll hire staff to be there full time. They met with the Upper Hill Neighborhood Council on March 14th, so they did speak to the Upper Hill Neighborhood Council, and the Upper Hill Neighborhood Council also supports them. I don't think that it's the right thing to do to reach out to city councilors during hearing meetings. I'm not sure if that's true, but I don't think that they're supposed to do that to kind of guide our judgment. So they did speak to the appropriate parties. They spoke to the church, and I will have his cell phone number. And so I think that they have met all the requirements that was of concern, Councilor Brown. So I hope that I helped answer your questions.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Because I'm not sure as far as sometimes even with the neighborhood councils, I've been around forever, and I've never really seen that neighborhood council. All you do is have to do an audit. So I think we have to start doing an audit of when neighborhood councils meet, who are there. But that's another meeting. But anyway, it's really important to make sure that the individuals in our neighborhood are notified, not just one or two individuals who choose to support you, who know you. I don't know if that's the case. As long as you speak to the actual church and some of the counselors, I know I'm very active in the neighborhood, and you haven't spoken to enough people, but you've spoken to enough where I know it's a good thing, and I will support you, like I said.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Members are reminded that the hearing remains open. We are currently collecting testimony for the purpose of rendering our decision. With the hearing open, are there any further councilors that wish to pose any questions relative to the special permit? Councilor Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. President. And my questions are for the applicant. If you could, sir. So first of all, I want to thank you for your proposed investment in the city. I regret that a lot of these questions can't be direct at the current operator, so we hope that you'll do a much better job than he or she. The place is called Wash and Go. We want you to wash and then go. You're getting the first half, not the second.
Agreed.
So I have a couple of questions. So you mentioned that there'll be an employee on staff, and I've looked at the site plan and the street view, and I don't see any office space where they could conduct business of any sort. So where would you house this employee, sir?
So there is a office, so there's as you pull into the wash, there's a office area right behind the building. It kind of straddles the back of the building that is, the side of the building that is not up against either State Street or Benton Drive.
Does it have a bathroom?
I don't know that. I believe it does, yes, there is a bathroom.
Okay.
It's behind the facility, behind the building in the back where all the utilities and things of sort are.
And you'd agree to a condition that the employee be there during all hours of operation?
Correct.
Have you received complaints from any members of the community about noise outside of your operating hours?
So I haven't operated the facility. I've just, I've heard about the noise through reaching out to the neighborhood council and speaking to a few of the neighbors and through members of the congregation. So this is where I've heard about the noise.
So I know we've been at this for a while. I don't think we're done yet. If there is issue from the neighborhood with noise after hours, I think it would make sense to have a gate so that people who are not there to conduct business during your allowed hours can't go in there and make noise or loiter, as we've heard they've done in the past.
So there's currently a non-working open and close sign that we will get working immediately.
Mhm.
It's on the sign on the main State Street, so it only shows open all of the time. So all I can assure you is one of the first orders of business will be to get that working. I think that'll be a pretty good indicator of the status of the facility.
Well, right, but these aren't people who are following the rules. If they understand it's not open when they're coming in at night and making noise, if that's what's happening. So that would not, fixing the open and closed sign is not sufficient to me if people are concerned about noise after hours. And I would also like, at the appropriate time, if we are going to proceed with this, that we have some additional conditions regarding the staffing, not extending the current structures or use beyond what was approved in that prior permit, so your existing facilities, a condition regarding the signs, regarding concern and directing people's attention to noise and neighbors. Well, there was also discussion about surveillance. Did you say that you're agreeing to do surveillance?
We are definitely, yeah, we will. There was cameras previously at the facility. They're inoperable currently. Again, it'll be one of our first orders of business to put up a new camera system there. Mm-hmm. And for our reason and everybody else's, the facility currently, the way it's been run, has just stayed open. We will close this down, at closing time. So we will shut off the vacuums. We will close the doors to not allow access. I think part of the reason that some of the noise has happened after hours is that these things have been open and free to use at any hour of the day. So for us, this will be closed down when business hours are over.
This has been operating 24 hours a day, you said?
It has. Or it has been open. I don't know if it's been, what time people come by or anything of that sort, but I know currently they don't have a process to shut things down.
Well, I think you've heard from us that that's going to stop. And with respect to the hours, you mentioned earlier that you're going to work on exploring what your business needs are. Some of the most vocal folks here tonight are folks from the church. What is your business activity on Sunday mornings? I'm not familiar with the congregation's hours, but I expect it's Sunday mornings. What are your hours and use on Sunday mornings? Would you consider curtailing that?
I'd definitely like to assess and see what's happening at the facility. I would be very happy to work with the church. I would be happy to meet, on a weekly basis until we can, get things into a situation that everybody is satisfied. But I'm a local person here. I don't. I live in the area. My day work is in West Springfield. I live in Wilbraham. I'm accessible. I'm available. I'm here to work with my neighbors to get to a place that is satisfying to everyone.
I appreciate that. No, I haven't heard anybody here tonight question your integrity or character, but it is attractive on a warm spring afternoon to go and play your music and clean your car, and if tolerated by ownership, maybe to have a few beers. And so the issue is not with your track record of management, it's with what patrons have decided to do at this site. And so if this gets approved tonight and there are continued complaints from the church, I fully expect and hope that you'll do something about it. And if you don't, you should expect that you'll have to be back in here talking about restrictions for Sunday morning hours.
That won't be a problem.
Okay. And then I only want to revisit the gate issue if there's an appetite for that from the neighborhood. If the part of the concern has been after hours, that would be pretty easy to do. And then the last thing that I noticed that I just wanted to mention here is the fence that's along, I think it's the westerly line along Berlin Street, the rear of the parcel. It appears to just be like a 4-foot chain link fence. Would you entertain a condition to put up a 6-foot tall vinyl fence to mitigate some of the noise for the neighbors in the back, and also to create an additional barrier for that parcel?
I'd be willing to put up a 6-foot fence. I'm not. I'd probably put some privacy slats that are a little better. The current vinyl fences don't hold up very well, so I'd ask if that's something you request. I'd like to put up a chain link fence with some privacy slats in there. Our intent is to improve the landscaping there a little bit. So along that fence line, hopefully when we get things going, all of the landscaping at the site has been removed. So we hope to reestablish that to kind of remove some of that commercial feel there.
Would you do wood? I mean, the privacy slats aren't going to help with the noise. And I'm not so much concerned about privacy back there because it appears to be a vacant lot that's a little overgrown. But the request would be if you would put up a 6-foot fence that is either stockade or vinyl. The privacy slats.
So, I mean, to mitigate the noise, what we're doing is we're staffing the facility. We are putting up signs to help manage this. I think we're trying to do a pretty fair effort. I mean, if this is something absolutely you think that will help noise, then we'll be more than happy to do it. I'm not sure that there's a whole lot of added value in in adding a 6-foot fence to mitigate noise that's traveling in all directions.
That's a fair assessment. So, Mr. President, I think that this conversation has evolved in a positive direction from where we were at our last hearings meeting. I have quite a few conditions I think would be appropriate, and I think many of our colleagues here tonight have spoken on before me. I did hear earlier Councilor Davila mention the prospect of a 1-year review, and if that is something that he'd like to make a motion for, I would second it, and I would do so in lieu of some of these more onerous or laborious conditions for the petitioner so that we could have an opportunity to come back and see how this is going. Nobody wants to make this a difficult situation for this gentleman to come in and do business, but we have to be cognizant of folks who live here and are practicing their faith here and have been clearly disturbed by your predecessor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Before we go further, Madam Clerk, can you please recognize Councilor Fenton for the record?
Councilor Fenton?
I'm certainly here.
And can you please recognize Councilor Hurst for the record?
Councilor Hurst?
Present.
Present.
Okay. The hearing remains open. Are there any further questions for the petitioner or anybody else present? Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree with my colleague, Councilor Fenton. I think that with the petitioner, are you available? I want to speak a question with the petitioner again, please.
I'm here.
Councilor Brown, the petitioner is present.
Is this something that you need to be done immediately? Is this something, because it's not that I don't think me or my colleagues don't support you. Is it something that is it something we have to do immediately, or is it something we can talk about?
Councilor Brown, I'm not sure we understand the premise of the question.
Is there a time limit on what you have to do as a petitioner?
Councilor Brown, if we understand your question correctly, I think that the answer would be that the petitioner cannot move forward operating the facility without this special permit being approved.
Is there a certain amount of time, Mr. President, that he needs it to be approved?
Yeah, so we can't move forward with the transaction until we have this approval. So we kind of sit in this floating state until we can get this approval. If we don't get it, then it just goes back to being managed the way it currently is being managed with the current ownership.
Yes, and I understand that much. Does it hurt you? How does it hurt you is what I mean. I'm trying to, Mr. President, what I'm trying to do is still trying to have some compassion to the petitioner and understand how does this affect him, Mr. Petitioner, if we hold this up or do whatever we do.
My hopes again would be that we that you make a decision hopefully tonight on if you choose to approve this or not. Our agreement with the current owner is based on this on this approval, and I don't know what else to add here.
No, that's sufficient. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. The hearing remains open. Are there any further questions for the petitioner or anybody else present? Seeing no further questions, at this time, without objection, I will declare that the public hearing is now closed. The council will enter into deliberation. Is there any further deliberation on this permit? Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief. I would like to thank the petitioner for his due diligence. He has impressed me with his dotting the I's and crossing the T's. I'm pretty happy you have reached out to the church community, and I'm happy that the church community feels that they have been listened to, as I understand it, and that their concerns have been properly met. With that being said, sir, I do think that, as we all know, unfortunately, a lot of times we are promised the sky and we end up with a fuzzy lollipop, with the fuzzy end of the lollipop. And with that being said, I think it will be appropriate to make a motion, sir, that we add as a condition to this permit a one-year review. So that is my motion. I make a motion that we add as a condition, an extra condition, 1 year review from the date of issue to be reviewed for in a year for final approval.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Davila has made a motion to add a sixth condition. The sixth condition being that this special permit be reviewed by the Springfield City Council 1 year from the date of issuance.
Correct. Yep.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Councilor Fenton. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing no discussion, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on Councilor Davila's motion to add a sixth condition item for a 1 year review.
On adding a sixth condition item for a 1 year review, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The motion carries. Is there any further deliberation? Seeing no further deliberation, Councilor Whitfield.
Thank you, Counselor. Mr. President, I just wanted to talk about what Counselor Fenton said about the fence, because I know that I have a yard, right? And I also know that when a fence is put up, there's less noise and there's some more privacy. And I think I agree with what he was saying. And also, from my understanding, the neighborhood council, the Upper Hill Neighborhood Council requested the same thing to, you know, shield and protect the neighbors in the church from the noise and just the visual, because we all know we can't control what people bring in, what they're smoking, what they're doing while, you know, waiting in the facility. So I do want to add the condition of putting up, it doesn't have to be around the whole location, but at least in the area that Counselor Fenton mentioned. And can you just do the condition for me?
Let me see. It was
Counselor
on.
Fenton.
Thank you very much. It was a motion to require the applicant to install a 6-foot tall vinyl or stockade fence in the, let me think of how to describe it.
And while he's looking, I just wanted to add, a lot of times our neighborhood gets overlooked, or we don't put in these conditions to protect our neighborhoods, and then something happens. And so I think that as a precautionary measure to the neighborhood and the church, that it's the best thing to do up front and not wait until something happens, and not wait to the one-year review until something happens to put up the fence. So I'm just going to, Counselor Fenton, if you're ready.
Counselor Fenton.
Rear of the parcel off of Berlin Street, extending approximately 118 feet.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Is there a second? The motion was made by Counselor Fenton, seconded by Counselor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, did you get the language of the motion?
Yes.
Can you please repeat the language back to the body?
The motion is to add a 7th condition, to install a 6-foot tall vinyl or stockade fence at the rear of the parcel off of Berlin Street, extending approximately 118 feet.
So moved. Is there any discussion on the motion? Counselor Perez?
Would I be able to ask the petitioner questions at this point?
At this time, we cannot entertain any further testimony without reopening the hearing.
I am puzzled about the financial hardship, and I would like to hear from the petitioner if this will create any financial hardship when it comes to this fence.
If you would like to make a motion to reopen the hearing, we can reopen the hearing. We'd have to vote on that motion, and then we would take the testimony and we would reclose the hearing.
I entertain the motion to ask the question to the petitioner about the hardship that will create with the placing of the fence, if any. Thank you.
Council President has made a motion to reopen the hearing.
What happens to the motion that's currently on the floor?
We would return to that motion when we came back.
After the,
Correct.
so we don't have to do anything with it right now to do another motion?
I'm thinking about it. We may need to. We may
I
need
can
to
withdraw. Can you
we may
withdraw?
need to dispose
We'll
of
withdraw it for now and then.
Okay.
We'll yield the motion to
Yeah.
Councilor Perez.
There were several ways to handle it, but that was the most expedited way. And so at this time, the motion's been withdrawn. Council Perez has made a motion to reopen the hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Whitfield. Is there any discussion on the motion to reopen the hearing? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, without objection, please call the roll to reopen the hearing.
On reopening the hearing, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards. Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. Hearing is now declared as open. Councilor Perez, you may ask your question.
Yes, I will ask. So we are discussing the fencing. I want to hear from you as the petitioner. Would this create any financial hardship, or I want to hear your thoughts about.
Sure. So I haven't had a
condition.
chance. I didn't give it too much thought about what it costs to install a privacy fence there. If it was vinyl, I guess it's how many ever feet, but I would guess somewhere in the vicinity of $80 a foot is kind of a pretty normal number. So my guess is somewhere $8,000 to $10,000 to put a commercial privacy fence there. I do want to say, I just want to let you know, the area behind that particular fence is wooded, probably another, I'm going to say somewhere in the vicinity of 75 to maybe 100 feet of woods before the church view comes into perspective. I think better than that privacy fence is the natural wooding that's there. But if this is an absolute condition that the council feels that would make the neighbors happy, I'd be open to it. I'm not sure that it adds that amount of value there to help mitigate with some of the things of trash and noise. That naturally wooded area is a very, very good sound buffer. And like I said, we do plan to do staff this facility to keep this clean. I promise you to keep the, do multiple trash pickups daily to ensure that some of the trash that you've seen, I've had some of my own folks there pick up the trash in the wooded area. So if you drive by there, there's no more tires there. There's no more trash. The dumpster has been enclosed. We will be a good neighbor, and I don't need a fence to tell me to pick up trash or to keep it out of your yard. We will just do this as part of our regular business.
So for my understanding, the fence is in the wooded area, or would
It's up against the wooded area. Okay. So the two sections of fence that exist on the property both buffer the wooded area. They don't buffer the neighbors. They don't buffer the street. They only buffer the woods.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Councilor Whitfield, followed by Councilor Brown. Hearing remains open.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I just want you guys to understand this wooded area, you can see right through it. You can see right through it to the church. It's not like a big wooded field. It's not like the woods that you're going to walk through before you get to the house. You can see the church. You can see the car wash from the wooded area. There's a few trees in this like little section. So if you drive by there, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But I know that we at times want to consider the cost to the owners of the property, but I want to talk about the cost to the residents. We go to the dentist and we do all these things for preventative care, and to me, this is preventative care for the residents of the city of Springfield. And I understand there may be some cost associated with it, but I think that is worth it to the preventative care of my church congregation and my family, because my family goes there. My church congregation is my family, and the testimony and their concerns are real, and I want us to understand that they're real, and I want us to realize that they are real concerns. And I know if it would have been maybe in any other neighborhood or your church family, your immediate family, you will want the same preventative care for your residents. And these are all of our residents, because we're city councilors of the whole city. And so I just want us to think about that. Since the petitioner is willing, then he may have the financials to do it. Because if he didn't, he may not be as willing to do it. But I'm thinking about the residents in the city of Springfield and protecting them for the future, because there's always times when we have business owners, petitioners come in and say they're going to do one thing, and then it turns out to be something completely opposite that's done. And so I'm glad that the year clause was put in to review in a year, but I still want to make sure that we protect the residents in the area, and also the church, who has come here on several occasions, have written letters, have made a concerted effort, along with the owner. Not that I don't trust you, but I don't trust you, not 100%. I don't trust you like I trust my church family. So we still want to be good neighbors and work with you.
Sure.
And, you know, and
If a fence does it, I'd be happy to put it up.
the fence will do it for me.
Fine.
And so,
Done.
with that, I just wanted to say those words. We have to take care of our community and the residents in it, and that's all residents throughout the entire city. So I still would like to move forward at the appropriate time with the 7th.
Thank Councilor Whitfield. We're going to go Councilor Brown and then back to Councilor Perez.
Thank you, Mr. President. To the petitioner, I do want to thank you for once again doing business in the area. And I do understand that you're familiar with the area. So when it comes to the church and even the other, where I would even go even further is the kids. Because we have kids who are going to walk right by there. Our high school kids, that's what they're going to see. My daughter, she actually goes to the school right across the street from there. I know that I can't tell you to do certain things, but I would love to see some flowers, some, you know, can we, as an owner, I know I retired from business a long time ago, but as an owner, I know, you know, I'm welcoming you in, but if you can put some flowers and make it look pretty for some of our high school kids and kids walking by there, I would really appreciate it. So I just, you know, before everything is said and done, a lot of businesses, they come here and they forget about this is a little neighborhood kid. If you can make it a little prettier, let's get some flowers, some plants. If you can do it, I know I can't hold you to it, but if you can make it a little prettier for some of the kids that aspire to be business owners just like you, I would appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Perez.
Yes, I am in support of the fence. What I wanted to see, because for many years this has been an existing problem with the other owners. I wanted to open a communication in terms of the hardship to see if part of the condition of 1 year, I wanted to assess your financial hardship as being the new owner. I find it very unfair, all these issues that I've been listening in the hearings about the existing owner. And as a new owner, I want to feel that in reality, you're standing there and you're promising what you promised, but at the same time assess your financial from the perspective of a new owner. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Are there any further questions while the hearing remains open? Councilor Walsh.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Listening to this discussion, and, you know, the petitioner has been very agreeable to all the suggestions made by the church. The church seems happy, and, you know, that's a lot. We want to be fair to our businesses, too, and we don't want to put burdens on them. I mean, would there be an appetite to say that we leave it to the discretion of the petitioner to find the best deal he can for the fence? Because that's a lot of expense to be added to this project. How do you feel about that, Councilor Whitfield?
So in truth, I feel that we have to continue the hearing, because before I can make a decision, he could come back with a quote if that's something that he wants to do. But I still want to protect the church family. I still want to protect the residents in the community. It's a really aging community over there. Like, there's individuals that used to go to our church that are not mobile anymore. So our church goes over there. They go over there during the week, you know, Bible study and other activities. And a lot of times there are folks sitting in that parking lot drinking and smoking, and it's not safe. And even if we could cut off the visibility, like if you see older people walking, that might give you an idea to go and do something to them, or, you know what I mean? So that will even cut off the visibility from the church, so they're not putting our members and our children in harm's way, because it is happening. Like it's our reality, and we are living it. And so I just want folks to understand that while I sympathize for the business owner with this this burden of cost, I do sympathize, and I do appreciate and respect all the willingness of the owner. I still want to protect my church family and the elderly residents in the community. And if this one extra step will help do that, then I would like to move forward with it. And folks, just vote their heart and their conscience.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Davila, while the hearing remains open.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to make sure that I heard correctly, because I could swear, Mr. Goncalves, that with regards to the fence, when Mr. Councilor Fenter was asking you, you did say that you'd be open to putting up a fence, correct?
So I'm open to either option. If you let me choose, we'll just assess. We'll either put up a stockade fence 6 foot or a vinyl fence 6 foot along that back property line.
So that I'm clear, you are open to putting up a fence?
One of those two options that was suggested. If you just let us assess, we'll pick the best financial option there, but we will put up one of those two options.
Mr. President, if I may, through Councilor Whitfield, through the chair. Thank you, Mr. President. Are we looking for a specific fence, Councilor Whitfield, or are we looking for a fence?
A.
Just a fence?
A fence for privacy, for noise.
Okay, well, got you.
Based on what Councilor Fenton suggested, I'm happy with that. A wooded fence, Councilor Fenton also gave that suggestion. So,
Right.
6 foot,
Just such-
whatever meets him financially,
Fence.
fine
Okay,
with that.
got it. Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Mr. Goncalves, I would thank you for being open to amicable to it. I do agree wholeheartedly with Councilor Whitfield that we need to protect our neighborhood, the community, the church community. Mr. Goncalves, as I told you before, you have impressed me. It seems to me you have dotted your I's and crossed your T's. And honestly, I think we're starting to beat a dead horse here. He's open to it. Let's put the condition on. Let's move on to the other plethora of issues that we have on the agenda, since Mr. Goncalves has been gracious enough to say that he's willing to put up a fence. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Are there any further questions while the hearing remains open? Seeing none, without objection, I will now declare that the public hearing is once again closed. Councilor Fenton, on your motion.
Just like to revive my prior motion, Madam Clerk.
Second.
The motion has been made by Councilor Fenton, seconded by Councilor Whitfield, to add a 7th condition, the language of which the clerk will read at this time.
So the vote will be on a motion to add the 7th condition to install a 6-foot-tall vinyl or stockade fence on the rear of the parcel off Berlin Street, extending approximately 118 feet.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the motion.
On the motion, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Perez?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Govan?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Click Bruce?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Letterman?
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The motion carries. Is there any further deliberation on this special permit? Seeing no further deliberation, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to approve the special permit. 2/3 majority vote is required.
On approving the special permit, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Perez?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Govan?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Click Bruce?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Letterman?
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The special permit is approved. Councilor Fenton on the reasons.
The specific site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. The use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. We incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision as the basis for the findings.
Madam Clerk, without objection, please call the roll to approve the reasons.
On approving the reasons, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The reasons are approved. Councilor Edwards.
I'd like to make a motion that we take items number 6 and 7 out of order since they're both petitions.
Thank you, Councilor. Is there any objection? Without objection, Madam Clerk, please call item 6.
Item 6 is 23-02 Rifle Street, one way.
Is there anybody here to speak to this item? Is there anybody present to speak to item 6, 20-02 Rifle Street, one way? Seeing nobody present, is there a motion to continue?
Second.
The motion was made to continue by Councilor Curran, seconded by Councilor Edwards. Is there any discussion on the motion to continue? Seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to continue item 6 to our next meeting.
On continuing the item, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield. Away, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. Item 6 will be continued. Madam Clerk, item 7.
Item 7 is for an honorary sign in honor of Ron Johnson.
Is there anybody present to speak to this item?
Yes, we are.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Donna Johnson, 1432 Plumtree Road, Springfield, Mass.
Mrs. Johnson, the floor is yours.
Thank you. My son is going to speak. Ronald, are you there?
I am. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, Mr. Johnson, we can hear and see you in the chamber.
Council President Letterman, councilors of the city of Springfield, thank you all very much for the opportunity to speak with you all this evening about this petition and this opportunity to recognize my late father. On the behalf of my entire family, I want to say thank you for at least getting us to this opportunity to speak in favor of this petition. For those of you all who know my father, he was a staunch supporter and advocate for all things within the city of Springfield, especially supporting those who are underserved. He had an special affinity for people that were situated within the Mason Square community. And having come up and been born and raised in the city of Springfield, attending elementary, middle, and high school, as well as college in the city of Springfield, his words were actually met with a tremendous amount of effort and work. So we're before you this evening to humbly ask for your approval as a council to add an honorary sign on the corner of Rutland and Wilbraham Road, in the corner of Rutland and State Street, in the name of my father, Ron Johnson, who spent the last 10 plus years of his life servicing the Martin Luther King Family Services Organization, growing and developing the organization to what it is today. There are many things that I can share, with regard to my father's contributions to the city over his over 63 years in the city, but I would defer to any questions or points at this point. And again, thank you for the opportunity for us to be with you this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Are there any questions or comments from the council relative to this petition? We'll go to Councilor Brown, then Councilor Govan, then Councilor Hurst, and then we will continue. Councilor Brown?
Thank you, Mr. President. To Ron Johnson's son, if you hear me, you hear me?
I can, Councilor Brown. Thank you.
I'm the ward counselor there. And one thing I can say about your dad that I say about a lot of the leaders, and they don't know that they're mentors of mine. Your dad is a mentor of mine. When you talk about greatness and excellence, he is the epitome of it. A lot of times, you've seen me as a city councilor. You can look at some of the articles and some of the mishaps and some of the mistakes I might even fumbled and said as a city councilor. He is somebody who's a role model, a mentor, who would be able to tell me, hey, Councilor Brown, you shouldn't have said it like that. So when you think of greatness and people who truly mentored and molded black leaders, your dad is one of them. Not only does he need streets, we need more and more and more and more. I commend you for continuing to at least fight for people to understand how great your dad is. Because believe it or not, he didn't know me as well as I known him. And I always tell even my mentor, who I had to tell Rep Swan, I said, you guys don't even know me. You guys are people who I watch and admire. I admire your dad. He is great. So I commend you for bringing this forward to the city council. And I can tell you 100% that not only do I support this, I want to make sure that you know me and we can continue to build to when it comes to the black progression in the community. So I commend you, brother, and definitely, your father is a definitely 100%. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Govan?
Thank you, Mr. President. And I also want to thank Mr. Young Ron Johnson and Donna Johnson for sharing Ron Johnson with our community. He has been an icon in our community when he was at CHD and when he was basically all over the place, the Breonna Fund. I had the honor of working with Ron the last few months before he passed at the Martin Luther King Junior Family Services, and he was so knowledgeable. I just hope that someone got that knowledge from him, and I would certainly support the naming of a street in his honor, in addition to doing a whole lot of other things, because he gave so much to this community. So I would encourage everyone to certainly support this petition. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Councilor Hurst, followed by Councilor Click Bruce.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. And I certainly echo the sentiments of my colleagues, Ron and Donna. Ron Johnson certainly was an icon in our community. Ron did some things that many people don't and won't have the opportunity to do in their lifetime. He certainly was a model and a mentor to myself as well. He's someone in the community that you would want to emulate, and someone that was always giving back. And he was giving back selflessly, and he was giving back because he cared. He was giving back because he believed in the community, and he believed in the betterment of the community. And so I know he's looking down upon us from heaven, and he's saying that, you know what, Ron Johnson Jr., I fully expect you to carry the torch, and you are making me proud right now, as you are making myself and probably everybody here on the council proud by bringing this petition forward. So keep up the great work and keep doing great things. Certainly continue to model what you do after your father, and you will certainly have a bright future.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst.
Thank you.
Councilor Click Bruce, followed by Councilor Whitfield.
Yes, thank you, Council President, and to Ron Jr. and to Donna Johnson, again, my sincere condolences. And I just want to say also, Ron was a Dunbar Community Center employee, and I had the opportunity as a teenager, as a young kid, to be mentored by Mr. Johnson, and truly always with wisdom, always someone who we can always trust growing up, and to see him flourish at MLK and all the other places he was at, and to see how proud he was of all of us that kind of grew up at the Dunbar Community Center. It's totally was through him and others at the community center, because without that leadership, we wouldn't be where we are today. So to Donna and to Ron, when I saw you on that screen, you remind me of your dad so much. So again, continue his legacy, and I look forward to supporting this for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Whitfield, followed by Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just echo the sentiments of my colleagues as well. I did work for Ron Johnson for about 3.5 years, and the opportunities that he gave me to learn how to host events, put events together, gave me the experience with working with the youth in the drug-free coalition and teaching them. And we made a lot of change on Rutland Street, and even before me, the street may be small, but there is a big impact over there. I continue to bring my nephews over there. We hosted this past holiday party at MLK, but when I walk into those doors, I remember all the lessons that we learned. Mr. Johnson was somewhat of a perfectionist, but he knew how to get it done. And so, those are traits that when I put on events, I've learned from Mr. Johnson. And even before that, he helped mentor my son when my son was going through something. And that's before he was the executive director. That's just being a friend to me while working at Mass Mutual together. And I was telling him my story, and he was just like, I'll talk to him. Without a doubt, without a flinch. Didn't know me that well back then, but he still just came forward. So to Ron Jr., to Donna, thank you for blessing us and sharing your husband and your family and all of you with it, because when there's Ron, there was Donna. So we're just so happy to support this. He was a great icon in the community, and we will always remember him. And if putting up the sign will help us do it every day, then I definitely welcome the sign. And thank you for bringing it forward, Ron Jr. You absolutely do remind us of Mr. Johnson and Donna. I'm always thinking about you. You guys are forever in my prayers. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Councilor Allen.
Thanks, Mr. President. Good to see you, Ron. I remember our time when we took the kids to Fenway and had a blast when you were working at Springfield School Volunteers. I had the pleasure of working, Donna, my regards to you, and I'm glad you guys have brought this forward to us. I had the pleasure of representing Mass Mutual on the Step Up Springfield project in 2003, and I worked on that project for 5 or 6 years alongside Ron Johnson. Ron Johnson that is being honored here. I found him to be a person of high character, great friendship. I had a great friendship with him. He was easy to like, but he had such a nice, easy way about him. But he never flinched from the character and values and principles and really the life of the values from Martin Luther King. It was appropriate that he ended up running Martin Luther King Center because he was just a wonderful guy who believed in people. It was wonderful to work with, and stood for, I think as somebody said, always was looking out for the people who hadn't gotten any breaks in life. And Ron was terrific. He was terrific as a colleague and terrific as a role model. And it's a pleasure to be able to honor him. I'm glad, Donna and Ron, that you brought this forward. I do want to point out that Ron Johnson spelled his name with two N's. Ron has two N's, and our city council thing here has one N, but the letter that they sent on his behalf has two N's. So whatever correction needs to be made to that, once this passes, we should make sure that we have the name R-O-N-N, Ron Johnson, with two N's. I look forward to voting for this. Thank you again for bringing it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. We'll address that prior to the vote. Are there any further comments to be offered? Councilor Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ron, just to echo many of the comments that were made by my colleagues, was a pillar of the community, and I considered him a friend. I cannot think of a more appropriate place to do this than Rutland Street. I can't really drive by the MLK Center without thinking of him, and I'm in full support of this and want to thank his son and mother and family and supporters who are watching tonight for sharing this wonderful man with us for so many years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Councilor Perez.
Yes, I just want to say officially my condolence to the family. I will always remember Ron's smile. When Ron used to smile, I participated in many meetings. I knew that the message was going to come around. So on behalf of myself, in the many years, knowing him back when the Barbara Rivera Center was the Barbara Rivera, as a good friend, he didn't have no limits when it came to the community and his leadership. So thank you so much, and I am in full support tonight of the honorary mention.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Are there any further comments? Councilor Edwards.
I would be remiss if I didn't say something about my friend Ron Johnson. First of all, my condolences to his family. Hearing all the comments, and I echo all the comments and appreciate them. My relationship with Ron Johnson started in 1966 or maybe even 1967. We were elementary school students together. I remember his gentle kindness even as a child. What you see and what you have spoken of in your relationship with Ron as an adult was the Ron that I knew as a child. I was the one who was rambunctious. I was the one who was fighting. I was a difficult child to get grown, as people who have known me all my life know. But Ron always had a kindness about him, a gentle spirit, and he is sadly missed. And it is my pleasure and honor to support this and to also to be here and be witness to all the kind, wonderful words that have been said by my colleagues on behalf of Ron Johnson's memory. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Edwards. Are there any further comments to be offered? Seeing none, certainly I don't speak from the chair, but I will just say very briefly and ceremonially that to the Johnson family, Ron Johnson was a beacon on the corner of State and Rutland. The appearance of this agenda item tonight is a beacon on our agenda, and the honorary sign that will stand there in memory of his legacy to inspire generations to come will be that beacon as well. At this time, I do want to address Councilor Allen's concern, because the way that this was forwarded from the Traffic Commission actually does read with one N, so I think the appropriate thing to do would be to entertain a motion to actually amend the order to be spelled correctly. So Councilor Allen, if you'd like to make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion that when we do this sign, once it passes here tonight, which it will, that we make sure we spell Ron's name right, and that is R-O-N-N Johnson. So I make a motion that we amend this to have the spelling be Ron with two N's.
Second. Motion was made by Councilor Allen. It was seconded by Councilor Edwards. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the amendment to ensure the correct spelling of Mr. Johnson's name.
On amending the petition to spell Ron Johnson, R-O-N-N, Johnson, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The amendment passes. Prior to our final vote, I do want to offer the Johnson family the opportunity to share any additional thoughts they may have as a courtesy, both Mrs. Johnson or Mr. Johnson Jr. If you'd like to share anything further at this time, we would welcome you to do so.
Thank you. Just briefly, want to say thank you again, and I'm incredibly humbled by all of the words and sentiments that you all have offered this evening. So incredibly thankful for it all, and thank you for your support of this petition.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mrs. Johnson, did you wish to offer anything further?
Yes, I did. I just want to say thank you to the council for entertaining this petition. We, the family, think that Ron deserved it, but it's so wonderful to hear that the council also thought that it was good to bring this petition forward. This is one way that our family really wanted to honor Ron. Ron did so much for the city of Springfield, in particular for Martin Luther King Family Services, and we thought that this would be a wonderful way to honor his memory. Thank you all so much.
Thank you again to the Johnson family. Is there any further deliberation on this petition? Seeing no further deliberation at this time, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to approve the petition.
On approving the petition, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Happily, yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the petition is approved. Madam Clerk, please call item 2.
Item 2 is for a special permit to install a digital non-accessory sign at the property known as 4 Bernie Avenue.
The petitioner present. I ask you to step forward. This is a special permit hearing will be run in accordance with the rules of the Springfield City Council. Proponents will have 20 minutes to state their case for the special permit. Opponents will be afforded the same right. Both sides will be entitled to 5 minutes of rebuttal. At this time, I will now declare that the public hearing is open and recognize the petitioner as the first proponent. Please state your name and address for the record, and the floor is yours.
Good evening, councilors. Attorney Seth Stratton from Fitzgerald Law with offices in Monarch Place in Springfield. I'm here with my good evening to all of you. Thank you for hearing from us this evening. I'm here with my colleague Rachel Fancy, who's going to hand out a few packets of material just to review as I'm offering a few brief remarks. My firm is here tonight as part 1 of 2 for 2 exciting developments in the north end of Springfield. I'm here on part 1. My colleague and partner, Brad, who you'll hear from shortly, is here for another exciting development in the north end. I'm here on behalf of the petitioner, Maverick Media. And Maverick Media is a women-owned company owned by Valerie Barsom, who, Valerie, if you could just stand. Valerie is originally from Springfield and was in the legislature and now is running Maverick Media. The site owner is Han Realty Berkshire, owned by Danny Hanous. Danny, could you just stand up? Thank you. And the site is 4 Bernie Avenue in Springfield. We're here on step 4 of a 6-step process to permit this exciting state-of-the-art digital sign in the north end of Springfield facing I-91 north and south. Steps 1 through 3 have been very successful. We're hoping step 4 tonight will be equally successful. And let me just walk through those steps for you. Step 1, we started with the New North Citizens Council and presented this proposal, and we're pleased with unanimous support. A letter in support of the proposal is included in the package tonight. Step 2 was to go before the Springfield Redevelopment Authority. This is in an urban redevelopment project area, and we need the approval of the SRA for a minor plan amendment to allow the sign. We presented to the SRA and received a favorable vote of the SRA. Step 3 was to go before the Zoning Board of Appeals
We require several variances, one primary variance, which I'll talk about in a moment, and we presented to the Zoning Board of Appeals just earlier this month and received approval from the ZBA for those variances. We're now here before the council for a special permit under Article 9 of the zoning ordinance for digital signs. After this, we'll need to have a submission, assuming we have the council's approval this evening, we'll have to go before the Department of Housing and Community Development to approve the plan amendment, and then we will need the approval of the Outdoor Advertising Board at the state to, because it's a billboard facing 91, they will need to sign off and approve the billboard. So we're halfway there. We hope to be more than halfway there after this evening. You have the presentation in front of you. I won't belabor it. I know I want to respect your time, but it is a dynamic, modern digital sign. The primary purpose of it is advertising, but it also has several other uses that are a benefit to the community. And I believe one of the reasons, for instance, that New North has supported it, we have the opportunity to do advertising for small businesses. We have the opportunity to provide notices of community events. We can make public service announcements, and we can even announce emergencies, public service announcements with respect to emergencies and such things as Amber Alerts. So it's really an asset to have in the community. It shows that Springfield is a city that continues to be on the rise, is a modern city, and it can be a beacon to the north end. Let me just briefly speak to, I know in your package there is a memorandum from the Office of Planning and Economic Development, who we work with very closely on a number of projects. Mr. Dromey has expressed some concerns about the project, mainly with respect to the number of variances. I don't want to belabor those. I'll simply offer that, and I respect the Office of Planning and Economic Development's view and Mr. Dromey's view that rules are there for a reason, but so are exceptions, and that is what the variance process is there for, and that's why we went through it, and I think made a successful case to the ZBA that the variances here make sense. The main variance has to do with the height of the sign. The ordinance requires a 30-foot maximum height. Where this is situated, 91 is elevated by about 30 feet. And so in order, if it was only 30 feet, it'd basically go right at the guardrails of 91, which would defeat the purpose. So in order to account for the elevated highway, the sign has to be significantly taller to rise to a sufficient level above the highway so that it can be seen accurately by motorists. The other, and I'm happy to answer any questions about them, but the other variances were simply presented because we needed to go for the variance for the height in an abundance of caution, because they were kind of gray areas. We thought that it best to get the additional variances as well. But we believe, as we articulated to the ZBA, that there's an argument that we didn't even need those additional variances. It's really the height, and we were pleased that we received that variance. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but I'll about the packet or anything I've said, but otherwise I will conclude my remarks.
Thank you, Attorney Stratton. If that concludes your testimony, we ask you to step aside. Is there anybody else present to speak in favor of the special permit this evening? Mr. Claudio?
Yes, Jose Claudio, 100 Clayton Street, Springfield, Mass. I'm here on behalf of New York Citizens Council and the board. When they came in front of us, we looked at the pros and the cons, and if you know Bernie Avenue from U-Haul this way, that's where I wanted the redevelopment, the urban renewal plan to start. To go the other way. But if you see it, there's a grandfather billboard already there at the U-Haul. And if you look farther down, at the renewal also, they put a recycle plant there also. And then After that, they put a large telephone, right? A big telephone, cell phone, right there. Next to it, we believe that this is, if it's going to happen there because it's not, there's no residential, there's nothing but business there, and it's already, if it's an urban renewal plan, they didn't think of pretty well in that little area. If they would have talked to us, we would have pushed it a little bit better down with everything, with the Herena School all the way down. That's what I feel the renewal plan should start and move that way, because if you look at it, all the billboards is there. We're the city of first. And to bring the digital into this modern world right now, it's excellent. We have one in Chicopee, and we got two in West Springfield. And if we are the city of first, we believe that this is the first step to really make it happen, and that not only that we could, but through COVID, we learned that we could have done a lot of stuff through digital. People could have come in, take the flu shot, take the COVID shot, and if we could announce it in multiple languages, that the city is so diverse that we could have done it so quickly. We could have done a lot of things like that. So for that reason, the neighborhood and everybody else saw the pros and the cons and really understand that if it's going to happen, this is the way it's going to happen. We'll not let it go any other way, but there, it could belong there, and it needs to be high because it's really, the highway is the only thing that is there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Claudio. Is there anybody else present in person or virtually to speak in favor of the special permit? Seeing none, at this time, is there anybody present to speak in opposition to the permit, either in person or virtually? Seeing nobody present to speak in opposition at this time, are there any questions from the City Council for the petitioner, Councilor Brown? We'll come back to Councilor Brown. Are there any further questions for the petitioner? Councilor Davila?
No,
Councilor Brown? Okay, you're recognized.
As a petitioner, you said that you are going to do community advertisement.
That's correct, Councilor Brown.
And who are the different components of this actual sign?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question or hear the question.
Who are the owners of the signs? Who's doing it?
Oh, the petitioner is Maverick Media. It's a digital sign company owned by Valerie Barsom, who's here this evening.
Okay. And as far as the sign itself, is it different type of technology? What is it? I'm just curious.
Sure, it's a large dynamic digital sign, double-sided. It's about 100 square feet in area, and it has what's called light blocking technology, so that it can only really be seen from straight on. If you think about the old LCD televisions when you stood at an angle and you couldn't see them, that's the best analogy that I have. But it's light blocking technology, and it can be directed to a certain specific spot, and pursuant to state and federal regulations, it changes immediately but needs to have a certain minimum time so that it's not distracting of minimum of 10 seconds, and then it rotates. So if you think about all the 10-second intervals in a day, there's a lot of advertising time, which again is the primary goal, but that allows flexibility for additional time for community organizations, public service announcements, and it actually drives the cost of advertising down that would allow more for small businesses as compared to a traditional billboard sign.
And do you think this is kind of like state of the art, or?
We certainly think so.
Okay. I mean, I definitely think that it's a good idea, but as far as your ability to collaborate with the different organizations out there, as far as wanting to do community service or whatever, can you collaborate a little bit more on that, please?
Sure. One of the reasons, we will be working very closely with the New North Citizens Council and be coordinating with them directly with respect to kind of a clearinghouse for requests for community support. But we'll also have point of contact available if folks have inquiries on how to get up on the sign. Again, the primary purpose of the sign is a business and is advertising, but there's enough capacity, and Maverick wants to be a good corporate citizen within the community, very willing to have that dialogue and make time available for the community.
And I thank you for Maverick. I thank you guys for at least being able to understand that. I definitely appreciate that. I am in support. Those are things that we really have to understand when it comes to even putting up things and doing business. So I thank you guys for your good business practice, and you do have my support. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Hearing remains open relative to questions for the petitioner. We'll go Councilor Davila, followed by Councilor Allen. We'll go to Councilor Perez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief. Seth, thank you for your presentation. Seth, I want to say this already, I might have missed it, but how big is the total billboard is going to be from ground up?
It's approximately 80 feet from
80
the ground.
feet. Okay, you say it's double-sided. Is that going to capture back-to-back? It's going to capture 91 North and 91 South?
Correct. If you see in the package that you
Right.
was handed out, there's a 91 South view and a 91 North view. It's double-sided, so one will be facing north and one facing south to
Right.
capture motors.
Right. Thank you, Seth. And I just want to make a quick comment, Mr. President. I was looking through the package that were given to us a little while ago, and one in particular caught my eye, and this is the, I'm not going to kind of hold it up, it says, as an example of what it will look like, and it has a picture of a silver alert. And I thought to myself, oh my God, how appropriate this is. Seth, when I first got into the council, I remember we were discussing issue, and there was a Springfield detective here that told us that of the elderly people that go missing a year here in the city of Springfield, more than 60% are minorities with dementia, with Alzheimer's. And I thought to myself, what a great effective way of using a billboard other than for marketing purposes. So my compliments to you, my compliments to Maverick Media for doing this, for allocating community times to put ads that matter, that impact the community. As Mr. Claudio was saying, get your vaccination, in community information, both English and Spanish, in any other language that may require it. So just wanted to compliment you on that, Seth, to Maverick Media, and I will be in full support of this project. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Allen, followed by Councilor Perez.
Thanks, Mr. President, and thanks to Seth and your presentation, et cetera. I just want to mention a little history here. There are probably only 4 councilors here who were here when we did the zoning ordinance. And Phil Dromey was, of course, here, but when I got on the council in 2010, I was chair of Planning and Economic Development. And Councilor Fenton, Councilor Edwards, Councilor Walsh, and I are still on the council from that time. I would say that in addition to cannabis and the casino and, maybe one other thing, the biggest thing we've done, one of the biggest things we've done was redo the zoning ordinance. Took us a couple years. It was endless meetings. It was lots of conflict about different approaches. We had an existing zoning ordinance. And we put a lot of time into it, and with the help of Councilor Shea at the time, Councilor Shea helped us get across the finish line. It was a very laborious process, and there was a lot of opposition to changes. We ended up changing the zoning ordinance, I believe, and implementing the new one, I believe, in 2012. So it's about 10 or 11 years now. I only say that to say that, you know, some of the things that are being asked to do here are against the zoning ordinance, are exceptions to the zoning ordinance. And while I may support this myself as well for other reasons, I just hope that we remember the importance of having a zoning ordinance and having guidelines for how we do development in the city. There are good reasons here for this. I've driven down there. I drove there a couple times today, looked at the location, and I think there's, you know, with the support of the New North Citizens Council and the neighborhood in general, and the messaging that has been offered by Maverick Media for community messages and stuff, there are a lot of things to consider, and those are great, great things. But I just want to point out that we spent a lot of time working on that, and while this may be one that the exceptions are warranted, there will be others where the exceptions aren't. And I just feel like I should say that in deference to the amount of work that went into that. My only other, so I like the community messages. My one question about it is, who will control that? If there's an Amber Alert situation that happens right away, or someone's missing in the neighborhood or things like that, who will control the getting that message up on the board? Will that be known to the community? Will that be New North Citizens Council? Or will that be Maverick Media? How will they find out?
With respect to emergency announcements, once the sign is functional, we'll certainly, that would be done by Maverick Media as the, I mean, this is all controlled remotely, electronically. We'll make sure that, you know, the local police, state police, and other, you know, city and state agencies have contact information and are able to get in touch, and that can be done really real time with respect to those emergencies.
Good. Thanks. Thanks for addressing that question, and thank you, Mr. President. I'm all set.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Councilor Perez?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I am in full support of this proposed project, and the most important thing about this project is that when COVID-19 hit the community, we were not able to knock on doors. With this proposed project, immediately I could have the people vaccinated by announcing that we have vaccination like we've been doing at the New North Citizen Council and Girina School. Not only that, this past year, a good friend of mine, she lost her father, Hispanic man with dementia. He started walking in Van Horn Park. I don't know if you remember that. And because she has to go on herself, and I had to help her personally with flyers. I mean, we are in a new generation, passing flyers around to ask if anyone has seen that person, coming to find out that he was in the Van Horn frozen, and until the water didn't come out. And to this day, I wish we would have had a technology like this one that we immediately would have put out in the alert. And when I look at all this, I'm looking at, and I will be holding the company accountable, and I've been furious about this, about the need of a digital like this, that immediately we could send a message. Today, driving over here, I thought about the catastrophe that we had in right now with the storm that hit, and I'm looking for the proper language. 25 family was missed. There was no announcement that, oh my God, that Michigan, what, this morning, 25 family was lost. Michigan, yeah, right. Correct. Those are the things that we have to be more technology savvy, and I think this is well needed. So I am in full support of this project. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Are there any further questions for the petitioner while the hearing remains open? Seeing no further questions, at this time, without objection, I'll declare that the public hearing is now closed. Is there any deliberation amongst the council? Councilor Hurst, followed by Councilor Whitfield.
I just want to say this, this particular project has my full support for all of the reasons that Councilor Perez stated, as well as the fact that we have the support of the neighborhood council. For me, it just makes sense. We need certainly to be much more adept from a technological standpoint, and certainly this digital billboard sign will do that. So I'm in full support of it, and I'm hopeful my colleagues will be in support of it as well.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Councilor Whitfield.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to also know I'm in support of the billboard. When I worked in West Springfield for my short stint, they were talking about how they're going to put up their digital billboards and they were going to do this and how they could use the signs, and it gives tax money. It gives like revenue from the tax standpoint. And I was like, what? City of First isn't doing that? Why aren't we doing that? And so when I look at all he had me at Amber Alert in this packet, had me at Silver Alert in this packet. The opportunities to advertise different cultures and, just the different ethnicities that we have in this community. He had me at free advertisement for community events, and they have some slots for free advertisement. It doesn't adversely affect anything as I'm reading through this information. So I'm like, while I agree with what Councilor Allen said, when we put laws in place, we have to try to abide by them to the best of the ability, but sometimes we got to make that good trouble, right? We got to make that good trouble, and we have to make those exceptions for when it's the best interest for the city of Springfield. And just having the opportunity to immediately put important information on a billboard to save someone's life was enough for me. So I support this billboard, and I hope colleagues will also do the same.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Councilor Govan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm also in support of this, and also because of Councilor Perez, where the sign is being put. It's in her ward. I think that she's in support. New North Citizens Council is in support. And like Councilor Whitfield, the City of First missed it this time, but hopefully we won't miss it again. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Are there any further comments from the council prior to a vote? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to approve the special permit. 2/3 majority vote is required.
On approving the special permit, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The permit is approved. Councilor Fenton on the reasons.
The specific site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. The use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. We incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision as the basis of the findings.
Madam Clerk, without objection, please call the roll to approve the reasons.
On approving the reasons, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The reasons are approved. Madam Clerk, please call item 3.
Item 3 is to amend an existing special permit for mechanical public car wash by allowing a change in the petitioner at the properties known as 416 Cooley Street.
Is the petitioner for 416 Cooley Street present? This is a special permit hearing. It will be run in accordance with the rules of the Springfield City Council. Proponents will be given 20 minutes to present their special permit. Opponents will have the same rights, and both parties will be entitled to a 5-minute rebuttal. At this time, I will declare that the special permit hearing is now open, and I'll recognize the petitioner as the first proponent. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Neil Phillips, and I'm the attorney representing these parties, one of which is the current
Mr. Phillips, could I ask you to stand in front of the podium and speak directly into the microphone, or else the broadcast audience cannot hear you?
I represent both of these parties tonight, one the seller of business, and one the buyer of a business. James Courier represents the seller, and Mr. Rich Lemelin is here along with his son Corey, and he's the buyer, the purported buyer of the business. He's buying two in Springfield, St. James Ave, as well as the one on Cooley Street.
Do you wish to offer any further testimony at this time?
I don't. I want to give you a little background about the history on this this situation with the Shabbat Group, of which Mr. Courier is a party. They started back in 1999, 2000 with the first one, and they amassed maybe 7 or 8 of them over time.
Yeah, 8.
And they're selling off 3 now, the last 3, 2 in Springfield and 1 in Chicopee. Well, the St. James is mostly in Chicopee, partially in Springfield. The Cooley Street, of course, has been there since about 2002. And of course, they've established themselves as worthy businessmen in this field, well-respected. The facilities, and Walter Gould will attest to it, I'm sure, clean, they're responsive to the needs of the communities they serve, whether it be St. James or Meadow Street in Chicopee or Westfield or wherever they were at the time, as well as Cooley Street. And they're looking to continue that with Mr. Rich Lemelin and his son. Mr. Lemelin owns one in Ware and one in Belchertown at the present time, and he knows how to operate. He's going to run the business in the same fashion the Shabbat and Courier and Pirelli Group did, or does now.
Thank you, Attorney Phillips. Do any of you wish to offer any further testimony in support of your special permit at this time?
I don't think so.
Gentlemen? No? All right, if that's the case, we'd ask you to step aside. And at this time, we would ask if there are any additional individuals present to speak in favor. Mr. Gould, please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Councilors. Walter Gould, 1336 Allen Street, Springfield, President of the Outer Belt Civic Association. I just want to compliment the council on their concerns about neighborhoods tonight regarding the first car wash issue. It's been a long time since I've been here. I know you're running a little behind, so I'll make this quick. We had a very good working relationship with the Shabbat and Mr. Pirelli prior to them changing ownership here. We did have some changes done in 2017 to make an amendment on the hours of operation. We met with the new owners in our March 7th meeting. They both assured us that they're going to follow the rules of the special permit. They're also going to keep the property clean. They are not going to be putting up a self-service bay, which was a concern regarding people hanging around with music and everything else playing. If you were to go down on Island Pond Road, that's been an issue for many years down there. So with that being said, we're voted to accept the change of ownership. We hope that you do the same thing. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gould. Are there any further individuals present, either in person or virtually, to speak in favor of the special permit? Seeing none, is there anybody present, either in person or virtually, to speak in opposition to the special permit? Say again, is there anybody present to speak in opposition? Seeing none, are there any questions for the petitioner from the City Council while the hearing remains open? Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. To the petitioner.
You two want to come up again, please? Yes, Councilor.
You know, I'd love what you guys do. Do you think we can get maybe some potted plants? I don't have to have it. We don't have to have it. But I want to make sure that when we do some of these things that we think about the cosmetics of beauty.
Well, Councilor Brown, the car washes Rich Lemelin is purchasing. We went through all this same meeting type of stuff with the city of Chicopee and city of Springfield 20 some odd years ago and ongoing every year that we built the car wash. We meet neighbors' demands and requirements. We got our 6 and 8 foot stockade fences. We got our planted PJMs and our different abrevieties. And we have, if you drive by one of our car washes and take a look at how they're decorated, I'm sure you'll be more than pleased, as is all the neighbors. We haven't had a complaint in over 15 years.
Okay, so I love to hear it. That's what I love to hear. And I definitely appreciate you Let's get some days and things, and I definitely appreciate you, and I'm going to support you. That's what I'm talking about as far as customer service and being still people who the community want around. So I'd love to hear it. So I am going to support it, but I just want to hear that. I'd love to hear it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Are there any further questions for the petitioner? Councilor Allen.
Thanks, Mr. President. I'm Tim Allen. I'm the counselor from Ward 7, representing the area of the Cooley Street Car Wash, and I work pretty much every week with Walter Gould on different things. He's a very staunch advocate for his area of the city, as is his organization. He's spoken highly about your operation. I got there just after you presented on March 7th. I got to that meeting just after you presented. So I didn't hear your presentation, but I did hear from him. He was happy with what you had to say and with this transaction. So thank you for your good work and good service to the city, and I will be supporting this tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Are there any further questions for the petitioner while the hearing remains open? Seeing no further questions at this time, without objection, I will declare that the public hearing is now closed. Is there any deliberation amongst the council prior to our vote? Seeing no deliberation, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to approve the special permit at 416 Cooley Street.
On approving the special permit, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The permit's approved. Councilor Fenton on the reasons.
The site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. The use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. We incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision at the basis of the findings.
Thank you, Councilor. Without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to approve the reasons.
On approving the reasons, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes, the reasons are approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Next item is to amend an existing special permit, mechanical public car wash, by allowing a change in the petitioner at the property known as 1310 St. James Avenue.
Attorney Phillips. So this is a special permit hearing. Will be run in accordance with the same rules. At this time, I will declare that the public hearing is now open and recognize the petitioner as the first proponent with 20 minutes.
Again, my name is Neil Phillips, and I represent the current owner of the car wash in St. James, as well as the proposed owner. Mr. Courier is here again, as well as Mr. Lemelin. And we're looking for your permission to obtain a special permit to allow Mr. Lemelin to run the business.
Do you wish to offer any further testimony at this time?
No, and we do have the support of the Neighborhood Council. We did receive a letter from Kathy Moses today from the Hungry Hill Civic Association in support of our motion, except there is one caveat to that.
Attorney Phillips, could you speak directly into the microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to hold back on that condition that we go to 10 o'clock at night. Evidently, that doesn't comply with your open meeting law rules, so we'll stick to 9 o'clock and come back for the additional hour in another month or two.
Okay. Do you have any further testimony you wish to offer at this time?
No, I do have a motion before you also on a matter to bring this before the city clerk immediately, if we could, once they're approved, to start the appeal period running.
Okay, we'll handle that in a moment. So
Thank you.
if you don't have any further testimony,
No.
we'd ask that you step aside.
Thank you.
And we would ask if there are any further individuals present, either virtually or in person, to speak in favor of the special permit. Seeing none, is there anybody here to speak in opposition to the special permit? Seeing nobody in person or virtually to speak in opposition at this time, I would ask if there are any questions from councilors relative to the permit at 1310 St. James Avenue. All right. Seeing no questions, relative to your question on the issuance of the permit, once the permit is approved, the clerk sends it.
Excuse me.
Council Brown, hold on for one moment. So once the permit is approved, the clerk will send it to me for my signature. I sign them promptly, and so we will ensure that that is forwarded to you. Council Brown, do you have a question for the petitioner?
No, Mr. President. I would just, you've answered the question.
Oh, sir. All right, Councilor. All right. Seeing no further questions for the petitioner, at this time, without objection, I will declare that the public hearing is now closed. Is there any deliberation amongst the council? Councilor Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. President. The applicant met with the Hunger Hill Neighborhood Council. I think it was last week. They provided a letter of support. We're not aware of any issues with this property. There was a discussion about expanding the hours to 10 p.m., which would match the other location that we just approved on Allen and Cooley. The neighborhood was in support of that proposal. My intention tonight was to introduce an amendment to the condition to allow that to happen, but after conferring with Attorney Shea, he didn't think that that would comply with the open meeting law because the notice that went out only reflected the change of applicant. So I intend to support this change of applicant tonight on its face, and thereafter expect that the applicant will be back before us to increase the hours to 10 p.m., which I also intend to support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Is there any further deliberation? Councilor Brown?
Thank you, Mr. President. Based on my colleague and his statement, I would support whatever he wants to support. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Are there any further deliberations amongst the council? Seeing none, at this time, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approval of the special permit.
On approving the special permit, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The permit is approved. Councilor Fenton on the reasons.
The specific site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. The use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. We incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision as the basis of the findings. Mr. President, is there any reason we can't take a voice vote on that since most of us were here?
We cannot take a voice vote if we have any member participating virtually.
Thank you.
Thank you. Having read the reasons, at this time, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approval of the reasons.
On approval of the reasons, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the reasons are approved. Madam Clerk, please call the final item, item 5.
The final item is for a special permit for the proposed Barbara Rivera Community Center to include a building for medical offices at the property known as East Side Chestnut Street, West Side Prospect Terrace, and South Side Prospect Terrace.
Thank you. For the petitioner, the special permit hearing will be run in accordance with the same rules that we have followed this evening. The proponents will have 20 minutes to speak in favor of the special permit. Opponents will have the same rights. Both sides will be entitled to 5 minutes of rebuttal. At this time, I'll declare that the public hearing is now open and recognize the petitioner as the first proponent. Please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, I'm Attorney Bradford Martin from Fitzgerald Law with offices at Monarch Place in Springfield. We're here tonight for a application on a special permit for the new development of the Barbara Rivera Community Center and the Team Wellness Center at the former Chestnut Street School site. I believe that the application and the papers that you have before you describes it. The picture we have here tonight is a fair representation of what the project will look like. I think this is a great thing for the North End. It begins with a tragedy with the burning of the Chestnut Street School in 2013, its demolition in 2014. It then laid vacant for a number of years until the city put out the RFP, 2020, at which time the New North Citizens Council was chosen as the preferred developer. They have since that time assembled 8 parcels of land comprised of now 3.85 acres, where these 2 buildings, the Barbara Rivera Community Center and the Team Wellness Center, will be located. This is a significant investment by both parties on this property, bringing significant, needed, and important services to this community. We have tonight representatives from the New North. Our executive director is here, our chief operating officer is here, and our architect, Mr. Al Nardi, is here to answer any questions about it. It is an exciting project, and I think it's one that is fitting for this community that has now brought something from the ashes, so to speak, to its fruition as a great and necessary project in Springfield.
Thank you, Attorney. Do you wish to offer any further testimony?
Not at this time.
At this time, we'd ask you to step aside. We'd ask if there are any other proponents present that wish to offer testimony, either in person or virtually.
Hi, my name is Maria Ligas, and I'm the Executive Director of New North Citizens Council. In 2013, when I became the Executive Director, the building that housed my staff was condemned by the city. Therefore, I had to relocate all the staff, about 40 staff members across the city. It's time to bring them back home. Right now, we have 88 full-time employees, and I would say about 55 would be returning to the new site. It would bring back all of our services, from HIV/AIDS services to some of the youth program, workforce development, housing. We have several different areas of focus. And I'm really excited to honor Barbara Rivera. You know, Barbara Rivera was my mentor. I've been with New North for 35 and a half years. And I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave something great for the community, a new center, a center that the community doesn't currently have. So I think that's it for me right now, but if you have questions, I am available.
Thank you, Ms. Ligas. Mr. Claudio?
Yes, Jose Claudio. Well, we've been waiting. This is going to be our 50th year at New North Citizens Council, and there's not a better time for us to bring everybody together. You know, in our hearts, it's always been the community, the youth. This beautiful building is going to have a gymnasium that we're looking to have midnight football, midnight basketball, and everything that has to do with it. And also, what better way they could do it? You know, we're a nonprofit, but we also bring in a profit so we could bring taxes to the city. This is important that if we're going to do something, we got to do it that it could make sense in the city and bring businesses, bring jobs to the community, but also bring the taxes that the city needs. This team is going to come and do that for us, since we're a nonprofit, it's good to partner up with a profit and really makes the city and everything that we're going to do proud of it, because it's going to create the revenue that the city also needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Claudio. Are there any further individuals present to speak in favor?
Thank you. My name is Al Nardi. I'm the architect working with New North on this project. I just wanted to verify for you that all the site plan drawings and details have been reviewed with Phil by my engineers, including very detailed landscape plans and landscape buffers and so forth. So we're doing very well with working closely with Phil. We plan to put out to bid in about a month or so, once with your approval, to take care of some negative things that are existing under the ground. Some of the site dirt and so forth needs to be removed and replaced so that it could actually hold the building up properly. So that's an extra cost to New North, but they've already planned that in their budget. And as an aside, I've worked in the city as an architect some 44 years. This is quite an amazing group, this New North Community Group. They have worried about every single detail in these buildings, right down to where the bus stop is going to be, and the fact that we only have one entrance off of Chestnut Street for 2 buildings rather than 2 or 3 entrances. So they're very, very sensitive to their community, and I have to applaud them for that. So I am a proponent.
Thank you, Mr. Nardi. Is there anybody present further, virtually or in person, to speak in favor of the special permit? Seeing none, is there anybody present to speak in opposition, virtually or in person? Seeing none, are there any questions for the petitioner, Councilor Whitfield?
I think, Jose, because you mentioned on the tax roll, so are you talking about the medical piece? You're going to bring in like medical practitioners?
The miracle is they're bringing jobs, and they're also bringing the tax revenue for the city that they got to pay the tax revenue.
You're going to like rent out the space in there to?
Say that again?
You're going to rent out the space to different medical providers?
They're building their own building, and they are the entity that's gonna pay. We just leasing the land.
Oh, okay.
So that we could pay for our building.
All right, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Brown, followed by Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank you, Maria. Maria, you hear me? I hate to be in a type of mobile area, but I commend you for your work. And I also want to commend Mr. Claudio Jose. If I can talk to Jose, maybe. Is he available?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jose, I've spoken with you numerous of times. Not numerous, but as of lately. And when it comes to the community and your commitment, you are definitely a pioneer, and I commend you. So I'm glad I had an opportunity to explain that to my colleagues and to the constituents around. This is something that definitely is needed, and I definitely commend you for all the work that you do, and I want to let you know that I do see you. Thank you, Mr. President.
I just want to say to Mr. Brown that this is a team effort. We have a beautiful staff, a beautiful executive director that lets me do the things that I got to do, but it's really a team effort with all our staff and everybody that we worked hard to make sure that this gets done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I may, to Mr. Claudio, if I may, First, I think that as I look over the plans here, I see that this is a visionary project, and so my compliments to you and your staff and all the engineers and architects that put this together. But some quick questions, Claudio. Do you know what kind of medical specialties are going to be going there? Do you have any idea what specialties, medical specialties? Are they PCPs? Do we know? Or is it going to be any?
It's in a bank. Oh, they're medical. They're a medical building. They all do medical. Their specialty is chiropractic. Is doing a lot of stuff that they do on their
I
own.
love chiropractic
Yeah.
myself. Good. All right. And Claudio, I was looking at this. I didn't realize this is big. How many floors does it have?
2.
2 floors. Looks pretty big. Am I seeing this correctly? Do I see a basketball court and something that appears to be like an amphitheater?
They say there's going to be a gymnasium in there. Yes.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. That's very nice. It's very good. Claudio, I think this is a great use of the land. And we know it's been empty for a long time. This has the potential to transform that area there, bring some new life into it, some activity into it. So my compliments to you and to your team, sir. This is really a vision. The only way I can describe it is a visionary.
And one other thing that my boss reminded me also that we're bringing, there's no bank. So it's a bank that is also coming in.
I'm sorry, what kind of bank?
Residents. Yeah.
I didn't hear you. What kind of bank?
New Bank Valley's coming in there too.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you, Claudio, and I'll be more, Mr. President, I'll be thrilled to vote for this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Govan, followed by Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I also want to commend Maria Ligas and Jose Claudio for having the vision to do this and to do it in my junior high school. That's where I went to junior high school. And I was sad when it burned down. So I'm really excited that this project is going to have Barbara's name on it and that it's going to continue to serve the community that New North Citizens Council has been serving for a very long time. So I would be glad to support this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Councilor Allen.
Thanks, Mr. President. Jose, great job on this, great project. Couple questions. What is the time frame of building the first building where the community center will be?
Yeah, the first building is going to be
When will the construction begin and when will it?
Say that again.
What's the dates that it'll be open?
The timeline?
Time frame.
Mr. Nardi, if you're going to offer testimony, I need you to offer it from the main podium.
We plan to go out to bid for the building in a couple of months. It'd probably take a good part of a year before the building will be open. Yeah,
Okay, thank you. And the second building, it said, will not be built at the same time.
That's correct.
Is that
But
correct?
but the ground preparation will be done at the same time so that the ground is equal on both sides for the weight of both buildings.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And I did notice the New Valley Bank there. I remember when there was an SIS bank farther along on Chestnut Street, and I thought it closed. I mean, TD Bank. So I just want to applaud New Valley Bank if they're truly going in there. That's great for the neighborhood to have a bank.
Yeah, it's planned to be a community walk-in bank. There's no drive-up just because of traffic and so forth, but it will serve that community pretty well.
That's excellent. And is that going to be in the community center building or in the medical building?
And in the community building.
Great, excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Councilor Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a really moving project and one that I'm incredibly excited about. I think Attorney Martin reflected appropriately earlier about how this started with a fire and a school that was really important to the North End and that ended suddenly and tragically. And the blight that continued and impacted the community there for many years. It took us a long time to get that building demolished and to see the ultimate end product of that to be the Barbara Rivera Community Center gives me some goosebumps. I'm really proud of the work that our friends have done, our colleague has done, Jose and Maria and so many others. This is a terrific example of what all of Springfield can do when we work together and put our minds to something. So I'm thrilled to support it tonight and can't wait to drive past and run past it every day, as I will.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Are there any further questions for the petitioner while the hearing remains open? Seeing no further questions, without objection, I'll declare that the public hearing is now closed. Is there any deliberation amongst the councilors prior to our vote? Councilor Walsh.
No questions, because this is a wonderful project. I just want to say that I think this is a fabulous reuse of the building, and I think it's a wonderful tribute to the legacy of Barbara Rivera, and we're all very excited for your project.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Is there any further deliberation prior to our vote? Seeing no further deliberation at this time, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to approve the special permit. 2/3 majority vote is required.
On approving the special permit, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
As much as my heart wants to, because of moral ethical value, I have to recuse myself, but I will have to make a statement. I've been with New North Citizens Council for 43 years now, and I think this is the closing cycle. I could say that I have made a commitment to my community, and tonight is being fulfilled. Thank you so much, and I'm recusing myself.
Recused, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The permit is approved. Councilor Fenton on the reasons.
The site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. The use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. We incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision as the basis of the findings.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Madam Clerk, without objection, please call the roll on the reasons.
On approving the reasons, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce. Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The reasons are approved. Madam Clerk, is there any further business properly brought before this body?
There is not.
Members, before we adjourn, I just want to make a brief announcement that the clerk and I are tracking legislative changes to the open meeting law that govern remote participation. And once those are finalized at the state level, very shortly we will have a memo for you detailing what those changes are and how they will impact us moving forward. We will also have a memo and training for you very shortly on use of hybrid meeting equipment in the committee room, because very shortly we will be able to hold fully hybrid committee meetings in addition to virtual ones. So please just be on the lookout for that in the week ahead, and we'll look forward to seeing you all at our next meeting. We stand adjourned.